Translating novice. Ah, who might this be? Isn't this the trio? It seems like just yesterday when you three were at the nascent soul stage, and now you've grown so much. Mad lords. White bone ghost devil widens their eyes, scattering dark ghostly energy. Their sharp roar makes the four directions tremble, and the heavens and earth quake. You. Hey, are we really going to make such a disgraceful scene before the Ascension Gate? Anyway, that old man probably doesn't want to cause unnecessary trouble before the Ascension Gate opens either. As White Bone Ghost Devil is about to erupt, Jin Bayako and Sir Chang-ho holds them back by their shoulders. Mad Lord chuckles at them and then leaps down from his puppet, landing in front of us. Your words ring true. At this auspicious time when the heavens open, I don't want to create unnecessary trouble, so if you hand over that mortal to me, I shall just leave. At his words, the three heavenly being cultivators gave a cold laugh and stood in front of us, blocking his path. Jinbaiko locked eyes with Mad Lord and spoke. Sorry, but they all possess talents beyond imagination, so it's difficult to hand them over. Don't be too greedy, old man. You've already taken the core of our nether crossing ship. What more do you desire? Hearing this, Mad Lord chuckles and strokes his beard. Ah, right, the power source I took from your stomach, it works brilliantly. I've modified and installed it as her heart. Thanks to you, she has become more complete. I'm always grateful to your Black Ghost Valley. White Bone Ghost Devil's pale face turns crimson with anger. You installed the power source of the Nether Crossing ship in a mere puppet. That power source, stronger than the combined dragon veins of a major sect, in a mere puppet. A mere puppet. Mad Lord's expression hardens. Say it again, she is just a mere puppet. She is alive. She will become a complete being. She is everything in my life. You want me to smash the rest of the Nether Crossing ships? Kung. Mad Lord takes out a wooden box from his bosom and throws it, making it expand to his size. He places his hand on the lid of the large wooden box. A storage device. The same kind of spiritual energy fluctuation that comes from storage devices is flowing out of the box. At the same time, it feels much heavier, as if it contains far more than a typical storage device. Creak. Just as Mad Lord is about to lift the lid of the wooden box. It's better not to open that, Mad Lord. Jayak. White Bone Ghost Devil opens the storage device at their waist, and black darkness spews out, releasing something huge. Quang. The huge object takes shape in the air and turns into a massive gate, about 10 meters in size, landing behind us. On the door of the gate, a giant Ghost King is depicted. Creak. The door of the Ghost King opens. Inside is filled with pitch-black darkness, and it emits the smell of the ocean breeze. Challing challing. At the same time, it sounds like the space behind the door is filled with water, making splashing sounds. I sharpen my vision to look inside the door and am startled. Inside the door, two huge warships emitting thin ghostly and yin energy are floating above a dark sea. The Nether Crossing ships. Although it's unclear inside the door, the ghostly energy emanating from the two Nether Crossing ships is far more chilling than the wrecked one I saw in my past life. Moreover, I could feel the presence of beings with the same aura as White Bone Ghost Devil inside the two ships. So the words about bringing his entire sect in compressed form are true. White Bone Ghost Devil reveals the two Nether Crossing ships and growls at Mad Lord. If you open that, I'll take it as a declaration of war right here. I warn you, do not open it. Creak. However, Mad Lord looks at White Bone Ghost Devil with a meaningful gaze and opens the lid of the box slightly more. At this, Sir Chang-ho and Jin Bayako's expressions also harden. Mad Lord, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect also warns you, do not open that. Even if you are a one-man army, do you think you can stand against all of us? I Chang-ho also warn you, if you pull out those things, I won't just stand by. Are you really planning to obliterate the ascension path? Crackle. As Jin Bayako brings his hands together, it looks as though lightning energy is gathering, and from within the lightning, a small model of a palace appears. From inside the palace, there are clear signs of many presences. At the same time, Sir Chang-ho also pulls out a scroll from his waist and unfolds it. The scroll floats into the air and unrolls on its own, revealing a landscape painting. Numerous presences are also felt from within the landscape painting. Mad Lord grins wickedly. HMMMMMM. Creak. The lid of the box is lifted further. You bastard, do you really think you can wage war against us? Do you not value your life? Are you underestimating us too much? Rumble, rumble. Dark clouds gather in the clear sky, and the heavens and earth begin to shake. The three heavenly beings raise their spiritual power, pressuring the Mad Lord. However, Mad Lord remains calm under their imposing aura. You ask if I value my life. Of course I don't. My heart has long been dead. What more is there to living? You better not provoke me further and leave the mortal here. Quickly make your way to the Ascension Gate. HMPH, you could barely destroy one nether crossing ship and ran away when you fought with my sect. In the current situation with the Golden Divine, Heavenly Thunder sect and Heaven Creation sect combined, are you saying our three sects are inferior to you? Haha, not obliterating you completely back then and merely giving you a little lesson was my mercy. Did you not realize that? And that was at my weakest moment. If you wanted to confront me, you should have joined forces at that time. Now that her heart is completed, it's even harder to face me than before. Think carefully. Krieg. Mad Lord opens the lid further again. Simultaneously, numerous types of spiritual energy burst from the gap in the box, and the three heavenly beings tense up, glaring at Mad Lord. Then it happened. Swoosh. Rain begins pouring around us. Huff huff. At the same time, Deputy Manager Ohisio suddenly turns red and collapses. Rumble, rumble. There were already dark clouds due to the clash of aura between the heavenly beings and Mad Lord, but the flow of the clouds accelerated. What she awakened her power today? I'm shocked, guessing why she's reacting like this. This is also a day earlier than planned. Simultaneously, the eyes of the three heavenly beings and Mad Lord turn to Deputy Manager Ohisio. Oh, what's this? An interesting bloodline. Mad Lord's eyes sparkle as he strokes his beard. The three heavenly beings also looked at Deputy Manager O with interest. Reacting to the energy of my living puppets. Ah, I see. There's a puppet made from the royal family of the Sea Dragon tribe. Is she reacting to the bloodline of that puppet? Haha, makes me want to dissect her. Mad Lord steps forward towards Deputy Manager Ohisio, grinning, and the three heavenly beings raise their aura to block his path. Do you think anyone here will hand over even a single person to you, Mad Lord? If you don't back down, I'll kill everyone here and replenish them with living puppets. Krieg. Mad Lord lifts the lid of the box further, and the faces of the three heavenly beings become even more distorted with fierce anger. Their aura alone seems enough to shatter heaven and earth. Just then, crash, lightning flashes in the sky, and suddenly a new figure appears in the arena. A young man with blue hair, wearing a blue robe. A small horn protrudes from his forehead, and he radiates a composed aura. Well, the heavens are twisting and something calls to my bloodline, so I came early. Didn't expect to see familiar faces. See Dragon King Coatl. Ultimately, even he appeared at a different time than in my past life. It's been a while, Golden Heavenly Lightning Sect Master, Elder of Black Ghost Valley, Heaven Creation Sect Leader, and Coatl greets Mad Lord with a smile in his eyes. Mad Lord is here too. While rushing over, I heard the wind say that there's a conflict between you and the three. May I mediate? Fighting here in Ascension Path during this auspicious time is something none of you would want, especially you, Mad Lord. Instead of trying to destroy the Ascension Path, why not close that thing? Upon Coatl's arrival, Mad Lord smirks in amusement, and the three heavenly beings show delight. Haha, if the respectable Sea Dragon King says so, it must be credible. Yes, the Sea Dragon King has resolved many conflicts and brought peace. We hope you'll advise that old man to keep his composure. I too find the Sea Dragon King trustworthy. Jinbayako, White Bone Ghost Devil, and Sir Changoho greet Coatl with trust. However, Mad Lord chuckles mockingly. Puha ha ha ha, what? That guy mediates disputes and brings peace. He's the one who spread discord and schemed across the continent. Are you all brainless? Jinbayako refutes. Don't slander the Sea Dragon King, Mad Lord. Unlike you, who lacks credibility, the Sea Dragon King has been mediating conflicts all this time. Ha ha ha, all of you are blinded from only looking after your own sects. You must roam freely like me to see the truth. Does he seem kind and reputable? He's a broken man. He wears a thick mask hiding his true self, even I can't see through him. HMPH, isn't it natural for everyone to hide some of their thoughts? Heh, are you naive because you're young or unbroken? You know nothing. There's something only those with broken hearts understand. I too am broken and know my kind. He's a monster, more twisted and rotten than me. Coatrial, did you think wearing your mask would fool everyone? I can see through it. I'm broken like you. Coatrial simply smiles gracefully, not responding. Coatrial. Just because your heart is dead, locking it in a mask will only worsen it. Wouldn't it be better to live freely like me? Haha, I've lived as my heart desires. I have nothing to regret, so isn't this a life to be grateful for? The conflicts and pain you've caused by following your heart. You're turning more into a monster. Make your choices wisely. Coatrial smiles silently, without changing his expression. Thank you for the advice, old man. You're older than me, old man. How hypocritical. Isn't it right to consider anyone with something to teach as a senior in life? White Bone Ghost Devil scoffs at their conversation. See, Dragon King, you have a hard time. Such a great person being slandered by that senile monster. A heart disease. More like that mad old man is the one with a diseased heart. He's a lunatic who turns normal people into puppets with his crazy logic. It's not my crazy logic, you fool. I've realized one of the world's principles and evolved others to implement it. White Bone Ghost Devil looked disgusted and stops arguing with Mad Lord, turning to Coatrial. I don't want to fight with that mad old man anymore. See, Dragon King, please mediate. Understood. Old man and you three, is this dispute mainly about those mortals? Yes, we found them first, so we have the right to make them disciples. But that wretched old man keeps telling us to leave. Do you think you can teach those kids well? Especially the one with the vast consciousness, only I can teach her the best. From my perspective, the woman using the sea dragon tribe's power to control the wind and rain, you, as a spiritual beast, can teach her the best. Mad Lord points at Manager Kim, indicating himself, then points at Deputy Manager O, indicating Coatrial. What nonsense! Our Azure Ghost Valley lacks no elemental methods. Do you know how long our sect's history is? I don't care how old your Black Ghost Valley is. I know you have plenty of techniques, but do you have a proper teacher? Especially me, I've learned many consciousness-related techniques in various ways. I can teach much more about controlling consciousness. Coatrial speaks slowly to them. Firstly, I want to ask you three. Realistically, can you withstand the spatial pressure if you add 2 more people each right now? The 3 heavenly beings look concerned. Coatrial continues. I suppose you've all put your full effort into ascending your sects this time. In each sect's building or ship, selected disciples are under the Elder's guidance, resisting the spatial pressure. Right. Adding 1 more person would be fine as you can bear their pressure, but adding more than 2 could disrupt the formation and increase the risk of failing the ascent. Especially since you're attempting the ascent during the widest opening of the ascension gate, failure is not an option. Coatrial's calm explanation is met with expressions of regret on the faces of the 3 heavenly beings. However, it is true that the 3 of you discovered these humans first. You acknowledge that, right, old man? I understand that old man's logic is different from the usual, but even in your logic, the sequence of time does not change. Mad Lord chuckles at Coatrial's words and nods his head. Well, let's just say that's correct for now. So, wouldn't it be right for old man to offer appropriate compensation to the 3 of you? In a way, old man is trying to snatch away the treasure you discovered, so it's only fair that you receive proper compensation. Upon hearing this, the complexions of the 3 heavenly men brighten. Indeed, Coatrial, you are a wise judge. A truly excellent response. The future of the Sea Dragon tribe is bright. However, Mad Lord's eyes sparkle as he lifts the lid of the box further. But what if I refuse? Upon hearing this, the Sea Dragon King frowns as if he has a headache, and the 3 heavenly beings' faces contort. I belong to no sect and have no living beings to take along, so I bear almost no pressure. I could just smash all of you right here, along with the unique constitution individuals you've chosen, capture them all, dissect, and evolve them for my world. Why should I bother negotiating? At this, the Sea Dragon King takes a deep breath. Kuong. Wind begins to blow around him. I made the best offer I could. If you continue to ignore my proposal, the Sea Dragon tribe and I will join the 3 sects in attacking Old Man and retrieve the bodies of my kin whom Old Man kidnapped in the past. HMPH, pretending to care about your kin just to secure a moral high ground. Isn't that just laying the groundwork for your argument? After a brief stare-down between Coatl and Mad Lord smiles and closes the box. Fine, I'll concede a bit today. If it's just the three of you, it's unknown, but with the Dragon King involved, I might indeed lose. I need to ascend and complete her this time, so I'll go along with your proposal. He steps back and points at Kim Yeon. I'll take her as my disciple. The compensation will be discussed later. I swear it in front of her. Thump, thump, thump. Mad Lord taps on the wooden box and listens closely to its surface. Then nodding solemnly, he speaks. Did you hear that? She has also witnessed my oath. The three heavenly beings watch Mad Lord's actions, their faces twisting in disdain. What's this? A puppet speaking. Coatl sighs and says to the three heavenly beings. You know that old man's logic is different from the norm, but from what I've observed, every oath sworn before her by old man has been upheld. I guarantee it, so please trust me. At this, the three heavenly beings click their tongues but nod. Then I'll take this mortal as my disciple, and we'll discuss compensation later. What about that mortal? Mad Lord points at Deputy Manager O. From my insight, Coatl seems most likely to draw out that mortal's potential, but I'm worried that the young mortal might learn only bad things from Coatl. How about I take that her too? At this, Coatl's eyebrows twitch. But soon regaining his composure, he turns to Deputy Ohicio with a pleasant smile. To be honest, it would be too burdensome for any of the three cultivators to take two, and it wouldn't be ideal to leave two with old man. Would you permit me to take this woman? I too promise, staking my honor, to offer compensation later. Upon hearing this, the three heavenly beings glare at Mad Lord and speak. Since the Dragon King has mediated, let's do so. They seem displeased that Mad Lord is gaining more advantage. Then Coatl approaches Deputy Manager O. At the same time, I feel dizzy. Why has it come to this? I asked them to awaken Manager Kim's talent, and sensing it, Mad Lord flew in, ready to confront the three heavenly beings. Mad Lord, having opened the box, released the energy of the biological puppets of the Sea Dragon race's royal family, awakening Deputy Manager O. Coatl, feeling Deputy Manager O's ability, arrived faster than expected, mediated, and distributed the personnel as originally fated. Everything, strangely enough, is flowing exactly as it should have been, according to the original history. I kneel before them with a hollow laugh. Seniors, please hear my words. These people are my colleagues. Can you just let them stay with me? Upon hearing this, Mad Lord flicks his finger. I forgot about that. What are you? Why do you, a human, carry a demon core inside? This is new. I want to dissect you. Crack. Andea. Simultaneously, my inner core inside my dantian starts to ache as if being pulled out. Under Mad Lord's will, my inner core is being drawn outward. I feel like my abdomen would rip open any moment. Whoosh! A gentle energy flows between me and Mad Lord, blocking his energy. Surprisingly, the owner of the energy is Coatl. How can old man torment such a powerless being? It's better to refrain from such actions during this auspicious time. HMPH, such a hypocrite, fine. It's just a chi-building demon core anyway. It won't be much use for research. I'll leave it be. Tusk tusk, tough luck getting caught by the madman. Sir Chang-ho taps my shoulder. His touch heals the internal injury I sustained from Mad Lord in my dantian. Coatl looks at Mad Lord and speaks. Swear that you won't bother these weak and pitiful beings after we leave. What, have you gone mad, Coatl? What are you even talking about? Why torment the powerless during such an auspicious time? At this, Mad Lord bursts into laughter after staring blankly at Coatl for a moment. Ha ha ha, disgusting, utterly disgusting. It's a pity that you all don't know the atrocities Coatl has committed while being holed up in your sects. It's so revolting it almost makes me sick. Fine, I swear, impressed by your disgustingness. Even she suggests to just empathize and let it slide. Mad Lord swore to her that he would no longer bother us, then stepped back. Coatl, with a kind smile, looks at me and says to the three heavenly beings, I've seen on my way here that the three of you have also harmed many spirits of Ascension Path. What's done is done, but please exercise restraint to avoid negativity during this auspicious time. Jin Bayako, White Bone Ghost Devil, and Sir Chang-ho nod reluctantly. We've embarrassed ourselves in front of the Dragon King. We'll exercise caution. How righteous you are, Sea Dragon King. Coatral chuckles, exchanging pleasantries with them, then picks up Deputy Manager O and approaches me, who is managing the pain in my dantian. I don't know the details, but you're undoubtedly of demi-human lineage. Since it's come to this, would you be willing to do me a favor? What is it? Coatral takes out a dark bead from his robe. Due to sensing this woman's energy and arriving hastily, there is something I couldn't handle. I should have delivered this bead to one of my descendants remaining in the sea, but I failed to do so. Can you deliver this bead to my descendant, Ran, who resides near Utmost Chaos Island? If you agree to my request, as a reward, I will give you a special cultivation manual suitable for someone of your demi-human lineage. Coatral then takes out a demon beast method bound in demon beast leather and hands it to me. The title of the manual is Summoning Wind, Dragon Transformation. So this was why he saved me. Now I understand Coatral's intentions. Hiding my rising disgust, I put on a mask of gratitude in front of Coatral and accept what he has given. Thank you, Dragon King. I will not forget the favor you have shown. You're welcome, and remember. Rumble. His gaze becomes fierce and intense. Expressing your opinion like earlier is courageous, but it can also be reckless. Be sure to behave properly in front of those greater than yourself. To answer your question, you and that other person are of ambiguous quality for taking. Leaving your colleagues behind means they are likely to be consumed by their mythical talents and perish. If you have a way to suppress those qualities, it's a good suggestion, but if not, it's better to stay quiet and remember this. Rumble. His presence makes it hard to even breathe. The Dragon King gives me calm advice, then transforms into a dragon and flies towards the Ascension Gate. The other heavenly beings also take my colleagues and fly towards the Ascension Gate. Left in the area are only Mad Lord, who had knocked out manager Kim Yoon trying to escape, and me with Kim Young-hoon. I stare blankly into space. Why did everything turn out this way? As Mad Lord looks at me and Kim Young-hoon, a spatial rift opens. Tusk, such a hypocritical dragon. If he's going to talk like that, he should at least send them outside Ascension Path. Hi. In a past life, I had managed to send Kim Young-hoon away through Coatral's hands. But in this life, everything returned to how it originally was, like a rubber band snapping back. Probably, Mad Lord will send me and Kim Young-hoon back. Again, the same way. To Yangyuo. Senior. I ask Mad Lord, unable to hide my feeling of futility. Does fate really exist? At my question, Mad Lord strokes his beard with an intrigued expression. Fate does exist. I'm not sure if you've learned any special techniques, but when you perform the Chi Refining 7 Stars ritual, everyone realizes that there is such a thing called fate. He points to the sky. What is fated to happen will happen, that is fate. Then, can humans not change their fate? At this, Mad Lord smirks. You don't seem to understand the structure of fate. No, that's not the case. Every living being can change their fate. Yes. Have you ever wondered why cultivators learn the principles of the 72 earthly Sha, 36 heavenly gang, 7 stars, and the spiritual energy star during Chi building? Why do they learn the principles of the stars in the sky? His finger stabs towards the end of the void. Have you ever questioned why cultivators are against the heavens? Isn't it obvious, because they defy the lifespan given by the heavens. Then why can cultivators defy the lifespan, the fate given by the heavens? I have never thought about this before. Mad Lord draws in the air with pure spiritual force from his fingertip. You poor thing, let this great being explain the structure of fate to you, as she also suggests. Translator notes, Mad Lord is such a troll. Dude's insane, but he's strangely more amiable than a lot of cultivators. This doesn't change the fact that he's insane and highly dangerous, though. Extra donated chapter by Fatty Taoist. Thanks for the support. / ********. Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 77, Fate 2. Translating Novice. Mad Lord began his explanation. As the most basic example, from the moment a human is born, they are continuously drawn towards death, which is the force of attraction of their fate. Mad Lord draws 2 points in the air and connects them with a line. This is the basic structure of life. It starts here and ends there. The slight differences in each being's lifespan introduces changes in fate. Mad Lord draws several more lines above and below the line connecting the 2 points. Let's say this line represents life. The endings of other lives represented by these different lines influence it. Since fate has a force of attraction, it pulls slightly towards where other fates end. Thus, fate is not a smooth, straight line from life to death, but becomes chaotic, influenced by the fates of other beings. The original line becomes uneven, adjusting to the endpoints of the other lines. We call this the play of fate or connections. These connections and fate determine our lives, and what is meant to happen will inevitably happen. So, the saying that what is meant to happen will happen means, let's assume there's a close friend. That friend has a different lifespan and fate than me, meeting the fate of death earlier than me. That fate is closely attached to me and also has a force of attraction, so I inevitably get involved in the friend's death. This is why what is meant to happen will definitely happen. So, does this mean that events unrelated to death are also fated to happen? No, there are no events in this world that are not related to birth and death. Do you know how many lives are born and die in the air we breathe, even in a single moment? I may have explained fate using simple lines, but the cycle of birth and death in fate is so complex and endless that it can never be simply expressed. I see. As all beings in the cycle of birth and death carry life, it can be said that every event ultimately has a force of attraction. Mad Lord erases the lines in the air and randomly dots points. Following these forces of attraction in life, every being embarks on a long and short journey. Mad Lord starts connecting the points from the first one. Eventually, all points are connected, forming a complex and intricate trajectory. What do you think looking at this? A child scribbles. I swallow what I was about to say and reply to him. I don't quite understand. Points creating attraction and lines drawn towards them. Doesn't it resemble constellations in the night sky? Tig tig tig. Mad Lord continues to dot points with pure spiritual force beyond the connected lines. Indeed, it resembles stars in the night sky. I've never reached the stars in the star realm, but ancient texts from cultivators who roam the star realm say that the stars in the night sky also exert a force of attraction. Mad Lord strokes his chin and continues his explanation. Stars are much like fate, aren't they? Or rather, if those texts are true, it's more like fate resembles constellations. Fate is like constellations. Life is thus a journey of swimming through a sea of stars, finding forces of attraction close to one's fate and events close to one's life. Being pulled by the attraction of fate, these events inevitably happen. Something seems to come to his mind, and Mad Lord looks bitter. Anyway, if we view fate as constellations and life as swimming through a sea of stars, the principle of cultivators observing the celestial energy and reading their fate is roughly like that, detecting the nearest force of attraction of fate. Additionally, the way for cultivators to escape the force of fate's attraction is simple, when ordinary life goes from here to there. Mad Lord connects points in the air. The constellation drawn by connecting the points ends at a certain spot. The distance to the next point is quite far. It looks like the line could not be extended further. Between these stars, create a suitable star and head towards the next one. The stages of cultivation, such as the 72 earthly Sha, 36 heavenly gang, 7 stars ritual, chi building spiritual energy star, core formation star domain, are not there for nothing. They create something similar to a star within the body, artificially creating a flow of fate, thus extending their fate. This is how cultivators extend their lifespan, and why they are called beings against the heavens. Mad Lord smirks as he continues his explanation. Then if fate is meant to happen but one wants to escape it, how? How to escape this trajectory of fate? Simple. Mad Lord redraws the constellation. The closest thing in this fate is the next fate, but if the master of the life desires a different fate, he draws a line from one star to another, illustrating the line moving towards a different constellation than originally intended. It's difficult to move to a different fate, because the force of attraction of the next fate pulls in the existence. The line tries to move to a different constellation, but is held back by the force of attraction of the determined fate. So what should be done? The method is simple: escape the force of fate's attraction. Whoosh! The line escapes the force of attraction of the predetermined star and lands in a different one. How do you do that? How, you ask? Power. If there is power to escape the force of attraction, one can escape from fate. As he clenches his fist, All the constellations and drawings he had made in the air disappear instantly. If you can't change fate, it's evidence of your weakness, overwhelming power to escape the force of attraction of fate, and the bone-grinding effort to escape that force. With just these two, we can reach a different fate than the one predetermined. Things that are meant to happen will happen, but depending on the effort of the being, we may not suffer from those inevitable events. As Mad Lord continues his explanation, his eyes sparkle with excitement. If fate torments me, then I should become stronger than fate. Where else can you find such a clear solution? I, too, have strived and strive to escape from my predetermined fate. Mad Lord clutches the box beside him, gasping for breath. I will escape the fate of never meeting her again and will see her no matter what, by any means. If I keep trying, I will definitely see her again, definitely with her. Mad Lord caresses the box with shining eyes, muttering to something inside it. Ah, my love, I love you. Please, please talk to me again, hold the fan and dance those steps like before. Not being able to see you is not the fate I want. If I can see you again, I will throw away all my fate and gather strength to leap to a different fate, to a place where I can see you. So please. He scratches the box frantically, speaking crazily to something inside. Certainly, he's not in his right mind. I look at manager Kim Yoon, who had been knocked out by Mad Lord. Power. The power to escape fate. And effort. Yes, I'm still lacking in everything. I simply lack the ability to change the current situation with my power. That's why what is meant to happen happens, and I can only watch as my colleagues are handed over to the madman and hypocrite. Thank you for your teachings. I feel a bit more understanding regarding fate thanks to him. Yes, fate will definitely happen, but it can be changed. In this life, no one had their arm torn off by the fox, because I distracted the fox and became strong enough to run away from it for several days. If I become stronger, strong enough to knock down the fox, maybe I can escape the fate's attraction of the fox. Let's become stronger. Stronger and stronger, increase the lifespan through cultivation, and create a constellation to escape all fate. Someday, if I become strong enough to escape even from the grasp of the heavenly being cultivators, then I can truly escape all fate. After scratching the box for a while in a frenzy, Mad Lord looks at me and Kim Young-hoon alternately and flicks his hand. Thank you for the teachings today. I have a few more questions to ask. That's enough answers for now. Go on, she is calling me, she needs my help. She says she needs oiling in her joints. She's calling me, she is. Swoosh. Before me and Kim Young-hoon could react, we are pushed into a spatial rift by Mad Lord's gesture. I see the Mad Lord open the box lid and bury his upper body inside, sinking into the darkness. Once again, we found ourselves in Yangyo. The force of fate's attraction. If there really is such a thing as the force of fate's attraction, even if Mad Lord sends us randomly, ending up in Yangyo is also because the force of attraction pulls us there. I pondered over fate, chewing over Mad Lord's words. His words made me feel like I could grasp the concept of the chi-building spiritual energy star. Before Kim Young-hoon woke up, I transferred knowledge into his mind using a technique. Kim Young-hoon was confused about the knowledge in his head and asked me about my conversations with the heavenly being cultivators. I explained that I had the knowledge in my head too, and that's how I conversed with them. I managed to persuade Kim Young-hoon sufficiently and helped him establish himself in Yangyo. After raising him to the level of 3 flowers gather at the summit, I taught him the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts, the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, and other such teachings, hoping that one day he would surpass the ultimate pinnacle and enter a new realm. Then, we parted ways. Afterward, I secretly infiltrated the Jin clan, seeing my disciples, and once again, I caught a glimpse of my master from a distance at the Chungmun clan. Finally, I headed towards the Black Wind Sea. Before heading to Seo Ran's abode in the Black Wind Sea, I look at the dark bead Seo Atrial had given me. It was the bead that, in my past life, Seo Ran used to completely destroy the Nether crossing ship in a mutual self-destruction. With a wry smile, I throw the dark bead into the sea. It sinks deep, beyond anyone's reach. Seo Ran will remember you as a good king and grandfather. I think to myself, not as a villain with a heart of a beast. That's enough. I glance at the manual of summoning wind, dragon transformation, deciding to use it as a token when I meet Seo Ran. Should I go to Seo Hyung right away? As I ponder in front of the Black Wind Sea, I know if I went now, Seo Ran would urge me to learn summoning wind, dragon transformation, and challenge the nether crossing ship again in a few years. No, that won't do. I sigh. Even both of us together couldn't defeat the core formation level ghost spirit in the nether crossing ship. Seo Ran, unaware of my situation, will probably wait for years. I lack the power to change Seo Ran's fated death. So, I'll seek the power to change fate before going to him. No matter how long it takes or what effort is needed. I'll enter Chi building and then go to him. I make my decision and head to Shattered Heaven Peak in the great mountains of Shangxi, where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect and a mountain with good dragon veins are located. 5 years have passed since my return. With a sigh, the brown clouds swirling around me are sucked into my nose and mouth. Through understanding before breakthrough and repeated insights in each life, my understanding of the Earth's surpassing path increased. 5 years to reach mastery this time. The water, fire, and metal surpassing paths, mastered in the past life, will take about 8 years each to master now. If this pace continues, I can master all the methods in the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation in 40 years. It's possible. In this life, reaching Chi building is achievable. I open my eyes and release gang spheres. Now I can stably control 9 gang spheres. I've consolidated at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. It's time to move beyond, but materializing consciousness is still challenging. The gang spheres can meld into my consciousness, but it can't hold its essence, and the energy dissipates. How can I materialize this power in my consciousness? Even as I ponder over the beyond the path to heaven martial arts, it remains complex and subjective. Hence, I spend my time continuing to practice the martial art and mastering the water surpassing path. 8 years later, I have mastered the water surpassing path, but still haven't deciphered the beyond the path to heaven martial arts. Despite recalling Kim Young-hoon's trials and errors, the martial art remains elusive. It's around this time. Kim Young-hoon came to Shattered Heaven Peak. What brings you here? I'm speechless at his rapid growth. Have you already reached the end of ultimate pinnacle? It makes no sense. We are just in the 13th year since my return. Has he already surpassed the 5 energies converging to the origin, reached ultimate pinnacle, and even its end? As I ask him in astonishment, Kim Young-hoon gives a wry smile. I reached the end of ultimate pinnacle and helped the Jin clan, a cultivator clan, in driving out the Makli clan, a devil path clan from Yangyuo. I thought I had achieved everything, but only at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle did I realize that if I settled here, I would gain nothing. He looked serious. That's why I left everything, including my external elder position in the Jin clan, to come to you. Together, we need to discuss this beyond the path to heaven martial arts in our minds and move to the next realm. I instinctively know. To reach this realm, I can no longer rely solely on innate talent. It's a realm that can only be achieved through decades of intense training. I understood the bloodied and painful efforts of the creator of the beyond, the path to heaven martial arts. He floats 9 gang spheres around him. I have reached the extreme, but honestly, I have no idea how to move to the next realm. Even though the predecessor carved the path forward with their blood, I don't dare to walk it alone. His eyes fill with a somber look. It will take decades of intense practice, even for someone like me, so walk this path together with me, reach this realm with me. Yet even in his somber state, his eyes tell me he has no thoughts of giving up. Kim Hyung. They say to change one's fate, humans need both the effort to break free from fate's attraction and the power to do so. But perhaps what truly frees humans from fate is not power, but will. Understood. I meet his eyes, reaffirming my resolve for this life. Let's together surpass fate. From that day, Kim Young-hoon and I began our simultaneous cultivation at Shattered Heaven Peak. I suddenly wake up. Was it a dream of the past? It was a dream about the day Kim Young-hoon and I decided to train together at Shattered Heaven Peak. I shake my head to clear it. I passed out to the point of dreaming. Thud thud. I stand up, dusting off the dirt and stone powder from my body. The vicinity of Shattered Heaven Peak is a mess. There are sword and saber marks everywhere, and craters caused by gang spheres all around. Cough cough. I use a palm strike to clear the dust and look for Kim Young-hoon. If I remember correctly, during our spar, Kim Young-hoon and I had struck each other and were thrown in opposite directions. I had taken a blow from Kim Young-hoon and lost consciousness momentarily, ending up dreaming about the past. But Kim Young-hoon had taken not only my kick, but also dozens of cultivator spells, so I don't know his condition. Kim Hyung Kim, huh. While searching, I see Kim Young-hoon below in the valley, half buried. Damn it, if we had just fought using martial arts from the start, it would have been somewhat safer. If Kim Young-hoon hadn't been stubborn about gaining enlightenment in a life-and-death struggle, insisting we use both martial arts and cultivation techniques, it wouldn't have come to this. Kim Hyung. I use a light body technique to descend into the valley and pull out Kim Young-hoon, who was half buried. Cough, cough. It seems he wasn't seriously injured despite being buried head first, perhaps because he used protective gang chi at the moment of impact. Cough, chuckle. He spits out blood, but at least he isn't dead from the head-first crash. Please wait, I'll perform first aid first. I bring the herbs and acupuncture needles I had prepared before the duel and start treating Kim Young-hoon. Tab, 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 tab. I insert needles into Kim Young-hoon's body to activate his life force. Soon after, Kim Young-hoon regains consciousness. Kim Hyung, are you okay? How many fingers am I holding up? 2. You're in bad shape. I clench my fist, tucking in my index finger and click my tongue. I'll do the treatment first and then go to the cultivators market to buy some healing talismans. For now. No, I mean 2. Kim Young-hoon, waking up from his dazed state, speaks decisively. I gained 2 insights this time. Crack. Kim Young-hoon stands up. Cough, cough. He coughs up blood. On the brink of life and death, I found a clue to the next realm. I've somewhat succeeded in understanding the enlightenment of the beyond, the path to heaven martial arts. He wipes the blood from his mouth and grins. One thing's for sure. The beyond the path to heaven martial arts is a martial art steeped in the subjectivity of its creator. The reason is, the realm obtained through the beyond the path to heaven martial arts is different for each person. Really? Beyond the ultimate pinnacle, the realm is reached through different enlightenments for each individual. Up to this point, it was divided only by the type of weapon and martial arts, but beyond this, it differs based on the person. I listen to Kim Young-hoon's insights, and my mouth opens in amazement. 35 years into the return. Kim Young-hoon began to gain insights into the next step through the beyond, the path to heaven martial arts. Translator notes, extra chapter donated by Satino and I Want More. Thanks for the support. Mr. Satino really be burning my stockpile. One more extra chapter coming soon TT. // asterisk. Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 78, Fate 3. Translating novice. Are you saying that the realm differs for each individual? I ask, struggling to understand. Kim Young-hoon, wiping his blood, begins to explain. More precisely, while materializing consciousness is the same, what materializes differs for each person. He pauses, seemingly in thought, then continues. Honestly, I've only grasped a clue, so I'm not entirely sure. But one thing's certain, the beyond the path to heaven martial arts continuously speaks about someone's life. I don't know who that someone is, but since the realm beyond is achieved due to someone's life experiences, and since every human life is different, wouldn't there be a unique martial art for each life beyond this realm? A different martial art for each life. That idea somehow tickles a corner of my heart. But you mentioned 2 realizations, right? If one is that the realm beyond ultimate pinnacle differs for each person, what's the other? Oh, the other is just a personal realization. Kim Young-hoon says with a faint smile. I realized that I truly long for home. All this time, my motivation for practicing martial arts was the hope that I might one day return home to see my family. He caresses his chest and closes his eyes. The faces I long to see as soon as possible. I realize only now that I've been madly practicing martial arts to forget that pain, gripping the saber until my hands tore, to achieve that goal. Kim Young-hoon looks up at the sky with a distant gaze. I apologize. This doesn't quite seem like a martial art realization. No, it's not that. I shake my head in disagreement and explain why it can still be a martial art realization. I explain what I felt when I reached the state of 5 energies, converging to the origin. Everything I've done is part of my life. Just as heaven, earth, and man influence each other, what I've done has also been influenced by my life. If you've realized something about your life, then it will surely blend into your martial arts, Kim Hyung. Sometimes talking to you feels like speaking with a wise old man. Though I'm surely better in martial arts, you have something I don't. He looks at me with a perplexed expression. Maybe you too will reach beyond this realm as quickly as I do. Haha, that's unlikely. How can I match your talent, Kim Hyung? Weren't you fast in reaching the extreme of ultimate pinnacle? That's enough talent. Of course, not as much as mine. But anyway, when I, with my superior talent, observe you, I think that if I'm a bird born to fly quickly into the sky, you are a volcano. A volcano. Do you know how a volcano erupts? Well, I'm not too sure, I've just heard about it. Lava keeps rising beneath a volcano, accumulating until it can't withstand the pressure anymore, and then it explodes. If I am a bird naturally flying swiftly up high, you are a high mountain, and moreover, a mountain filled with lava, ready to explode with a force much more powerful than any bird when it does. He encourages me with a smile. Reflect well on your life. Perhaps things you've overlooked have accumulated, creating potential you're unaware of. Unknowingly accumulated things. All I've built is merely time. Anyway, let's not stay here. Let's treat you properly, Kim Hyung. I take Kim Young-hoon for proper treatment. And then I start to ponder more about the topic Kim Young-hoon brought up. Time flows on. Before I knew it, I had fully mastered the earth, water, fire, and metal surpassing paths, and the wood surpassing path had also taken root based on my accumulated foundation. The wood surpassing path is the easiest. Perhaps it's because the other 5 elements' power properly supports it. The wood surpassing path gathers spiritual power so easily and quickly, thanks to the mutual support of the 5 elements. It's smooth sailing. Now the wood surpassing path is at the level of Chi refining 13th star, unified origin. Just a little more, and it will be complete. I'm about to fully master the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Of course, it's uncertain if I can enter Chi building. Despite all this effort, I might not reach Chi building in this life. Kim Hyung said I have potential. But I am a slow learner. Perhaps even more so than he imagines. If I can't extend my lifespan by entering Chi building this life, reaching beyond ultimate pinnacle might remain a dream. It's been almost 5 years since Kim Young-hoon grasped the clue to the beyond, the path to heaven martial arts. He dived daily into the beyond, the path to heaven martial arts, to the point of bleeding from his hands, knocking at the gates beyond ultimate pinnacle. But for me, it's entirely different. Even while practicing cultivation methods, I never ceased to train in martial arts whenever I had a moment. I never slackened for a single moment, never letting go of the sword from my hand. Even after reaching ultimate pinnacle, where a sword becomes unnecessary, I always maintained a sharp spirit, never forgetting the feel of practicing swordsmanship. For the past 40 years, I wasn't just focused solely on cultivation methods. Not just in this life, but in the previous ones too. Suddenly, I begin to confuse how many lives I have lived. Is this the 9th, 10th? I've undergone 9 returns. During these returns, how many years did I live? No, don't think about it. How many years did I practice martial arts, and how many years did I cultivate? It's the early signs of a heart demon, don't think more. In each of the 9 returns, I nearly lived close to 50 years in each life. Even considering the lives where I died earlier, when I add up all the lives I've lived so far. No, around 500 years. Roughly a lifespan of 500 years. A huff. Walquek. Blood spills as energy and blood twists. Even after 500 years of practicing martial arts, I still can't grasp beyond this point. Gang Chi uncontrollably escapes from my body, splitting into 9 pieces. In the world of intent, 9 versions of myself surround me, each uttering gloomy words. How about gradually letting go of martial arts now? After all, the initial goal of reaching 5 energies converging to the origin and breaking through divine consciousness has been achieved. Now, I'm at least not so weak to be torn apart by a fox. Martial arts are not my talent. Isn't it better to focus on one thing instead of forcing what doesn't work? It isn't that I have a split personality. They are all me. The voices are my own self talking. Honestly, how much of Kim Young-hoon's advice do I even understand? Walquek. I try to control my emotions, but I omit blood again. Even a genius like Kim Young-hoon, unprecedented for 1,000 years before and after, remained at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle for several lives. I've barely managed to pass on knowledge and enlightenment to get to this point, but that's Kim Young-hoon's story. How many more years will it take for someone without talent like me to reach Kim Young-hoon's level? Another 500 years of training. I'll change. I bleed a little more and then heal my internal injuries. Let's face it, what have I achieved in these 500 years? Haven't I just wasted time? Thoughts storm through my mind. The words being uttered by the gang sphere avatars are the immediate dark thoughts made manifest. Why am I practicing martial arts? Suddenly, such a question echoes in my mind. Because I need power. The moment I hear that question, the storm of scattered thoughts somewhat clear. It's simple, isn't it? The words of Mad Lord come to mind. One overcomes fate's attraction with a power that surpasses it. I've just done everything I could. What more do you want from me? Within the boundaries of humanity, I've struggled and tried to overcome fate. That is all. I know, perhaps entering chi building in this life is just my vain hope. Even if I enter chi building and practice for hundreds of years, I might not even step beyond ultimate pinnacle. I'm no different from dust under this vast sky, but even if I'm just a bug or dust, I cherish each and every life. As I speak and sort out my thoughts, the clouds in my mind seem to clear bit by bit. Martial arts have become one with my life. I cherish them too. I raise my head. The intent avatars that coldly spoke to me disappeared, leaving only the spheres of gang chi in front of me. I disperse the gang sphere and clench my fist. It doesn't matter how many years it takes. I cherish my life. Even if everything goes back to square one, all I will have left is the memory that I did my best. My energy and blood stabilize. I might not have gained a great enlightenment, but I fended off the heart demon. However, I still feel a slight tightness in my chest. I feel like I could have realized something. Not realizing it might also be due to my lack of talent. I can't help it, I have to pour more time into it. As my energy and blood settle, the powers I had cultivated over the years begin to stir. Still, I've finally reached here after pouring in so much time. Kagagugu. The wood attribute energy surges, creating a point of spiritual power. And then it explodes. Boom! A shockwave erupts from my lower dantian, and a cloud of green energy, the color of the wood element, rises up. Yellow, black, red, white, green. I've fully mastered the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Hue. As I exhale, clouds of 5 colors swirl around me. Should I try to break through to chi building? I close my eyes with a smile. The 5 elements are tailing each other, dramatically increasing my recovery rate. I wonder what will happen if I attempt chi building this time. Kagagugu. I absorb the clouds of 5 colors, filling my lower dantian to the brim. The clouds of 5 colors spin inside, converging towards the center. Here goes. Kagagugu. I fool have climbed up in the most ignorant way, pouring in accumulated time. No matter how thick the wall of chi building might be, can it really stand against all my time? Boom! A star of 5 colors lit up inside me. But the star of 5 colors keep vibrating with slight changes stemming from my 5-element spiritual roots, and once again, cracks form in the star. Crack snap. Boom! Eventually, another explosion occurs. The star shatters, and all the spiritual clouds I have accumulated for the chi building attempt dissipate. The cultivation I had built up to 14th star of chi refining falls back to 12th star. Hue. It's another failure. But then, hue. It was after about 20 breaths. Kagagugu. Power began to surge back into my lower abdomen. When I had fully mastered 4 methods, my recovery rate of spiritual power was already fast enough to restore all my cultivation in half a day. Now that I have mastered all 5 elemental methods, the recovery rate of my spiritual power is so fast that the cultivation of 14th star chi refining can be fully recovered in the time it takes for 20 breaths. Let's go again. Kagagugu. Having quickly recovered the cloud of 5 colors, I once again attempted chi building. Kung. With each explosion of the star, I observe the flow of the 5 elements. The changes in the 5 elements correspond precisely to the 5 elemental methods I have mastered. With each failure, I begin to see clear reasons for the failure. A life of nothing but failure upon failure upon failure. The rotten failures are accumulating, and someday will sprout a seed. Simultaneously, each time I observed the flow of the five elements, the power of the five surpassing paths to cultivation settled inside me seems to gradually find balance. Among the methods I have learned so far, the earth-surpassing path had a little more spiritual power than the others, and there were slight differences in energy according to the order in which they were learned. Although the difference was so slight it was barely noticeable, these tiny differences are gradually being filled, moving towards perfect balance. Every time these small gaps are filled, I found that my recovery rate improved slightly, little by little. From around 20 breaths to 19 and a half. Go further. Kuang. I focused on my lower dantian and continue my training. There are about 10 more years left. Within that time, I must break through. I enter a cave deep in Shattered Heaven Peak and continually challenge chi building, adjusting the slight ratio of spiritual power in the five surpassing paths to cultivation. Kim Young-hoon, too, did not come to visit, likely caught up in his own intense training and realization somewhere. And then a few months passed. Yoon Hyun come out. Yes, Kim Hyun, what's, wow. I startled by Kim Young-hoon's appearance. He's so emaciated that his bones are showing, and dark circles have sunk deep under his eyes, making him look like a living skeleton. His hands are also covered in scabs, gripping a saber so that the scabs seem to merge with the saber, giving the impression that his hand and the saber are connected. For the past 50 or so days, I've survived on the energy of my inner core alone, swinging my saber like a madman. And Yoon Hyun. A single tear trickles down Kim Young-hoon's gaunt face. After 40 years of hard training, finally, I've reached it. Engrossed in my cultivation practice, I have been unaware of Kim Young-hoon's activities. From now on, I will begin my ascent. I came to show you. Yes. I stop my cultivation, rise from my place, and follow Kim Young-hoon. We go to the front of a small peak, located at the lower part of Shattered Heaven Peak. Kim Young-hoon, gaunt and emaciated, lifts his saber. Let me explain slowly about the realm beyond. He begins his explanation. The key to reaching the stage beyond lies in finding the form of consciousness that best suits humans. The founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts tried to transform human consciousness into the same form as humans, like the demon beast methods, but abandoned it feeling it wasn't the way of martial arts. However, he pondered why demon beasts transform their consciousness into the same form as their species, referencing the demon beast methods. He concluded that it was to amplify their inherent wild nature, responding to the energy and thus strengthening the body to its limits. As he explains, he slowly and languidly begins to perform the severing vein saber method. Gradually, his form of consciousness begins to change, stimulating my upper dantian. Why did the founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts conclude that this was not the inherent form of human consciousness? I pondered this repeatedly, and then realized something while delving into the profound subjectivity of the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. His slow saber dance movements gradually pick up pace. Humans are inherently unique beings. Demon beasts, initially lacking intelligence and gaining it through spiritual awakening, did not need to ponder their lives and thus chose to enhance their wildness. But we, inherently intelligent, are beings who ponder. If we live lives full of pondering, each person's worries and lives will inevitably differ. His consciousness begins to be suffused with light. Therefore, the most suitable form of consciousness for humans is inevitably linked to what each individual has most profoundly pondered in their life. It's a golden light. Unlike the previous life's Kim Young-hoon, who simply burned his life to leap forward, the Kim Young-hoon who had rightly pondered his goal all his life is showing a much more stable level of achievement. I feel like I could glimpse the happiest times of his life through that golden consciousness. Time spent sleeping with his family, eating meals, and leading a normal everyday life. All those times, around Kim Young-hoon, 9 versions of himself appear. 9 gang spheres rotate around him. Gradually, they begin to merge into his consciousness. What I most wanted and wished for in my lifelong martial arts training was to cross the sky like a beam of light to return to my family. Yoon Hyun, you said that life melts into martial arts. You were right. The characteristic of my martial arts being swift was imbued with my desire to return to my family even faster. His consciousness materializes and condenses. I thought his consciousness had merged into his blade as a solid line. But looking again, His consciousness itself has become the blade. The form of consciousness that best suits Kim Young-hoon is a golden saber. The blade of consciousness merges with the saber that Kim Young-hoon is holding. The final movement of the severing vein saber method ends. Observing his every move in a flash, not missing even a moment, I watch everything about him. In the world of an instant. In that world, my consciousness communicates with Kim Young-hoon, who holds a blazing golden blade. What is the name of that place? In the world of an instant, my consciousness and his engage in dialogue. What do you think it is? Tell me, please. I pondered and pondered, but it was so clear. He smiles slightly. This realm, built upon the blood and tears of the founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts, I can't ignore it. I can't even imagine the pain and history it took to pioneer this realm. From the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts to reaching the Beyond the Path to Heaven martial arts. The new history of martial arts forged in Kim Young-hoon's blood. Even though Ultimate Pinnacle was a fictional realm, this surpasses even fiction. Then, it's only right that the first pioneer is qualified to name it. I don't have the qualifications. Therefore, this realm shall follow the will of its founder. Just as the saber of golden consciousness and the saber steeped in Kim Young-hoon's blood merge. The image of Kim Young-hoon from past cycles seems to overlap with the current Kim Young-hoon. No, the corpses of Kim Young-hoon from all past lives are behind him. The history of martial arts he created, made from his blood, becomes one with the new realm. It shall be called Beyond the Path to Heaven. The next moment. In the world of an instant, the saber of light swings at a speed that even my tenfold accelerated thought cannot follow, illuminating the four corners of heaven and earth with golden brilliance. Beyond the path to heaven, the surpassing radiant saber. The beam of radiance cuts through space, splitting the peak before us in half. The sound of the explosion follows belatedly, and soon after the explosion roars. This is my own path of life I have reached. Kim Young-hoon, with tears in his eyes, turns to look at me. I only now understand that life is joy. To all the predecessors who made me who I am now, to my family and to life itself, I am grateful. Amidst the dust clouds created by the collapsing peak, Kim Young-hoon laughs and laughs again. Translator notes, extra donated chapter by Satino THX for the support. My stockpile is like a phoenix. It dies and rebirth in the flames, stronger and more abundant than ever. And there we have it, the next realm of martial arts. Kim Young-hoon should be a writer with his skill in naming. BTW, join the Discord for notifications on chapter releases. Novel updates can take hours to add the releases. /// Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 79, Fate 4. Translating novice. It's beautiful. So very dazzling. I silently watch Kim Young-hoon. He's shining. Kim Young-hoon is shining so brightly. Amazing you truly are. Normally, I would have given him a bright smile. Or perhaps show my respect with a bow. But right now, I can only quietly admire his achievement. He seems akin to light itself. Maybe because of the lingering heart demon of my last ordeal. Compared to him, I feel so insignificant. Really, congratulations. He looks at me and smiles faintly. And then Kim Young-hoon collapses. Thud. That's right. He has reached this realm by swinging his saber like a madman for months without proper rest or food. I hurriedly carry Kim Young-hoon, lay him down and treat him. Watching him asleep, I let out a bitter smile. Is this envy? No, it isn't. It's a sense of deprivation about my own talent, a bit of emptiness and feeling of insignificance. While he blossoms his talent and continuously progresses, I need many times more time to cover the same distance. Seeing his light, maybe it's because the shadows in my heart seem to deepen. I feel even my hope is fading. Can I reach Chi building within the remaining time? Honestly, I'm not sure. The balance is becoming increasingly perfect and my recovery time shortened. But I still haven't reached Chi building. Continually adjusting the ratio of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation while trying to break through Chi building is becoming more difficult. Both cultivation and martial arts. It feels like even the heavens are forcibly rejecting me. If there is such a thing as the attraction of fate, what kind of force is binding me from reaching the next realm? Can I really overcome the barrier to the next realm in this lifetime? With a heavy heart, I revitalized Kim Young-hoon's vital energy for several days. A few days later, Kim Young-hoon wakes up. Kim Hyung, are you feeling all right? As he gets up, he looks over me for a while. Kim Hyung. When I ask again, Kim Young-hoon finally looks at me and smiles faintly. He nods his head. Any discomfort? He shakes his head. Are you having difficulty speaking? He shakes his head again and looks at me meaningfully with a smile. What's going on? Kim Young-hoon gets up, grabs his saber and goes outside. He looks at the sky for a moment with a smile, then climbs onto a nearby high rock, resting his chin in his hand and watches me. He looks like he's observing me. I read Kim Young-hoon's intent. His intent is full of interest, curiosity, and anticipation. Anticipation, could it be? His intuition seems to feel that I would reach a similar realm as him. Or maybe he's just expecting me to reach the same realm as him. Kim Hyung, I don't have as much talent as you think. But Kim Young-hoon just observes me without any reaction. After a while I sigh, go inside to adjust my cultivation, and practice martial arts. From that day, Kim Young-hoon's strange behavior continued. After reaching the realm of beyond the path to heaven and waking up again, Kim Young-hoon stopped speaking. It wasn't aphasia. Sometimes he went out to buy necessities and spoke then. But even at those times, he did not directly converse with me. He never spoke a word to me, just always looked at me with curiosity and anticipation in his eyes. If I seemed burdened, he would go far away to a distant peak. But I knew he was always watching me, even from afar. It's burdensome, as if he's curious about when I would reach the next realm. No, it was more than that, he's certain of it. Sometimes I would ask him for martial arts guidance, or to observe the martial arts of beyond the path to heaven, but he avoided conversation and no longer taught me anything. It felt like he was reluctant to show any thoughts towards me. What does this mean? I was frustrated to the point of madness, but I had to accept his stance and continued to practice martial arts and adjust the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation myself. Time kept passing. No matter how much time passes, Kim Young-hoon maintains his odd observer's behavior around me patiently. I feel like I'm going crazy. He showed no thoughts, didn't teach, didn't offer advice or even talk to me. He just looked at me with transparent eyes, as if he was certain that one day I would definitely reach the same realm as him, full of significant anticipation. What year is it? How many times has it been? I failed again. I kept observing and re-observing the changes in the 5 elements through repeated failures. As a result, I understand more than 70% of the changes. Yet I still haven't reached the chi building stage. If I can grasp the remaining 30% of the changes, I will probably be able to ascend to the chi building stage. But time is really running out. Is it 1 month, 2, 3 months left? My life is nearing its end. With heavy eyes, I look up at the sky. Neither martial arts nor cultivation can take me beyond. I am no different from dust. Yet Kim Young-hoon, like a speck of dust, still looks at me from afar with eyes full of expectation. Thud thud. I approach Kim Young-hoon and speak. As I said before, my life is slowly coming to an end. Being a cultivator, I am well aware of my own lifespan. Why haven't you spoken to me since you entered beyond the path to heaven? By now, you must realize I lack talent, so can't you at least offer some guidance? He just gives a faint, bitter smile. Fine, I'm about to die. You won't help or advise me. I just came to say goodbye. If I fail to enter the chi building stage this time, I will truly die. I really don't understand why you, Kim Hyung, are practicing this silent cultivation. Frankly, I'm baffled and frustrated as to why you suddenly stopped talking after reaching beyond the path to heaven. But you're undoubtedly a great master who has pioneered a new realm, so I will respect you. Thank you for showing me a new realm. I bow to Kim Young-hoon and slowly head towards a spot on Shattered Heaven Peak. Receiving Seo Yoon-hyan's farewell, Kim Young-hoon watches his fading figure in the distance and sighs softly. Why can't you understand, Yoon-hyan? Maybe it's a matter of perspective. Kim Young-hoon can see it. You're already complete. Beyond just forging a weapon, you're holding it in your hand ready to swing, so why aren't you swinging it? When he awoke after reaching beyond the path to heaven and saw Seo Yoon-hyan, he was too shocked to speak. The fact that such a thing could be seen in the realm of beyond the path to heaven was truly surprising. But Seo Yunhyan's, that thing is already complete. Even more towering and solid than Kim Young-hoon had imagined. Just a swing away from being used. After seeing it, Kim Young-hoon constantly spoke to that thing in Seo Yunhyan's subconscious, stimulating and guiding it. He didn't provide teachings through voice or spars. He feared that such instructions would only obscure the enlightenment. But now Seo Yunhyan's death is drawing near. Should I speak to him now? You're complete. Just swing and it will work. Can he awaken even now if I tell him directly? Kim Young-hoon watches Seo Yunhyan practicing cultivation from afar. Suddenly, he sees a reflection of himself in Seo Yunhyan's that thing. Enough. Kim Young-hoon decides to trust his intuition. He would continue as he had been, constantly stimulating his subconscious. Let's trust the guy. No, he has no choice but to trust. Anyone who saw that thing would have no choice but to believe. If he really struggles, I'll just show him once. Kim Young-hoon decides to trust his feelings and what he had seen in Seo Yunhyan's inner world. Do you know the feeling of not seeing a sprout grow, no matter how much fertilizer you give? Repeatedly giving the soil the fertilizer of failure, yet the sprout of success refuses to emerge. Kyung. I keep challenging chi building. Stars shatter, the 5 elements adjust, and I fail again. Who? What was once a recovery of 20 breaths has now reduced to 5. Almost perfect, but it feels impossible to reach the end, like trying to find the limit of an irrational number. No matter how much I adjust, it feels impossible to reach the end. What exactly should I do? No matter what I do, the end never seems to be in sight. Kyung. Once again, the spiritual energy star explodes. Why does it explode every time? Honestly, after mastering the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation and adjusting the ratios to the extreme, shouldn't that have been enough? What more could it possibly want from here? What exactly? Frustration surges within me, and it feels like my blood will burst from my veins. What more do you want from me? Just then it happens. My eyes twitch and look towards the distance. That's... Kim Young-hoon stood up and started performing a sword dance. Yes, it's a sword dance. It's the severing mountain swordsmanship. From the 1st to the 24th move, his sword techniques sweep through the air, and after completing all the moves, Kim Young-hoon sheathes his saber and sits down. That is the end. Was he trying to tell me something? What could he possibly mean? Especially since I am pondering over cultivation, not martial arts. However, I can't shake off the image of Kim Young-hoon performing severing mountain swordsmanship from my mind. Why did he show me severing mountain swordsmanship? If he wants to enlighten me, wouldn't it be better to show me surpassing radiant saber, the pinnacle of his achievement in beyond the path to heaven, to stimulate my upper dantian? No, a lowly person trying to understand the intentions of a master. Then, there must be some reason he showed me severing mountain swordsmanship. Strangely, Kim Young-hoon's swordsmanship lingers in my mind for a long time. After some contemplation, I realize the reason. What he performed wasn't just severing mountain swordsmanship. It was my severing mountain swordsmanship. He had mimicked my usual stance, gestures, habits, direction of intent, and pacing of energy, my severing mountain swordsmanship. That's why I am deeply impressed by seeing my own swordsmanship through Kim Young-hoon. Why did he show me my severing mountain swordsmanship? I think about the problems in my swordsmanship and recall what Kim Young-hoon had shown. There's no problem. Even though I am a rotten dullard, I'm a master who reached the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. The severing mountain swordsmanship Kim Young-hoon showed, without a joke, had no flaws whatsoever. It was perfect and stable in every flow. Is there some hidden problem that I'm unaware of? That might be the case. Seen through the eyes of a genius like Kim Young-hoon, who reached beyond the path to heaven, he might see more than I can. Let's think carefully. There must be a reason he showed me that. There's none. There's no problem. And then, in the midst of my contemplation, I understand Kim Young-hoon's intentions. He was showing me that there's no problem with me. To encourage me. I'm perfect. I shake my head. That can't be. He's a master far beyond me, an incomparable martial arts prodigy. There's no way my flaws aren't be visible to him. But If Kim Young-hoon, a master much higher than me, sees no problem, then maybe there really is no problem. Perhaps my martial arts are already complete. Zing! Completion. Somehow, with that thought, something seems to resonate in my heart. This feeling is similar to when I heard Kim Young-hoon's explanation that the realms of beyond the path to heaven vary depending on a person's life. Something touches my heart. Zing! Something is knocking on my heart. I ponder the nature of this feeling. I remember this tingling sensation. When observing the colors of my disciple's intents, when studying with my master and affirming his heart, when I saw Kim Young-hoon reaching beyond the path to heaven. This feeling it's the feeling of life being closely experienced. Indeed. The thing knocking inside my chest is none other than myself. Suddenly, I feel tears streaming down. Why did my heart respond to the words completion and life? Perhaps it's because all my past lives are complete in themselves. Just then, I am finally able to hear a certain voice, felt as a tremor in my heart. I look at Kim Young-hoon, who is watching me from afar. He isn't silent. He has been speaking to me all along. I feel anger. I feel injustice. How can I be so foolish? Having learned the languages of various countries and the language of the demon race, what good is it if I cannot understand the language of the heart? Kim Young-hoon has been unceasingly speaking to me, stimulating my subconscious, telling me I am already complete, that I only need to wield it. But I lack talent. I clench my teeth and with tears flowing. Talent. Kim Young-hoon sat at the very peak of Shattered Heaven Peak, looking at Seo Yoon-hyun on the opposite peak, shedding tears. Smirking slightly, he muses. What does talent matter at this point? Even if I am heavenly sent talent, and you are a talent abandoned by the heavens, it's not about who has or doesn't have talent. It's about those who have found the meaning of life and those who are searching. I found mine. What about yours? You have something I don't. You surely know your life better than anyone. From heart to heart, influenced by the power of beyond the path to heaven, Kim Young-hoon's will is conveyed. Thump. Kim Young-hoon's will reaches me. Hearing his words, I feel a sudden clarity. That is exactly what I had thought when I saw him before. The past Kim Young-hoon's, who despaired among the cultivators, flashed before my eyes. Blessed or forsaken by the heavens, we resemble each other as we cry out beneath fate. If we are similar under fate, if we have the will to resist fate, aren't we alike in that too? While listening to Kim Young-hoon's heart, I look into my heart, facing what I have long ignored. Did I unknowingly despair? The ratio of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation isn't the issue. Such things, once adjusted to a certain extent, can always be resolved. I am more than qualified to challenge the chi building stage. But I haven't, perhaps fearing that my lack of talent means no matter how much my lifespan extends, nothing will change. Escaping the attraction of fate is not just about strength, but also about will. Perhaps I have been tamed by the attraction of my fate. Thank you, Yohun Hyung Nim. Receiving his heart, I shed my hesitation. So it is. When the inner demon visited last time, I drove it away, saying it's fortunate that martial arts are an important part of my life that I cherish. But the frustration I felt wasn't resolved. Only now do I understand the reason. It's not about cherishing them. I have always been cherishing them. It's not about doing my best. I have been living my whole life doing my best. Whether talented or not, I have strived and cherished all my efforts. The accumulated depression throughout my lives burst out, turning into a heart demon, making me worry about talent. Whether a dullard or a genius, that's not what's important. What matters is how much we cherish life and believe in our own. Kugu. All the shadows in my heart wash away swiftly. Cleansing all hesitations, I regain my focus and once again challenge the chi building stage. I have been foolishly standing still under the pretense of adjusting ratios. Ratios, what nonsense. Why should I adjust to the method? The method should adjust to me. 5 spiritual clouds swirl in my dantian, the slightly protruding parts among them. I cut them off without hesitation with my sword gang and expel them from my body. Although my spiritual power decreases, the 5 elements synergize and are forcibly balanced by the cutting of sword gang, fully recovering. The ratio of the 5 elements becomes perfectly equal. At the same time, I feel as if the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation completely merge, a strange sensation. Kugugugu. Kuong. I challenge chi building. The completely merged 5-colored spiritual energy forms a spiritual energy star. It shattered soon after but reforms in less than half a breath. Kuong kuong kuong. I concentrate day and night, losing track of time. And then I feel a pain in my heart. Again, my lifespan is ending. If only I have a little more time, chi building is within reach. Take my life if you dare. Looking at the heavens, I declare defiantly. Let's see whether you bring down divine punishment first, or I reach chi building. The perfectly integrated 5 spiritual energy swirls, creating countless changes within. These changes forcefully subdue the fluctuation in the spiritual energy star. Chi building is within reach. Thump thump. Beating my heart with gang chi, I focus even more. I am no different from dust. But do you know? Stars are formed from clouds of dust. Dust gathers and forms the cradle of stars, the nebula. The 5 elements of spiritual energy shine, and the star, shattering several times within the cloud, re-emerge. Here I go. Is it due to my intense focus? Before I know it, the starry night has passed, and dawn is breaking. Soon after, dark clouds cover the sky. Will the heavenly lightning strike, or will I reach chi building? A critical situation. Roar, roar. Blue streaks flash between the clouds, and the sky brims with the power of lightning. Thump, thump, thump. Heavens above. Thump, thump. I will break free from fate. Flash. The sky turns blue. In the next moment, from afar, I can hear Kim Young-hoon's heart reaching out to me, as if he is speaking right in front of me. Yoon-hyun's swing, it's already in your hand. Only at the edge of life and death did I understand his words. Due to his longing and desire to return to his family, Kim Young-hoon created his surpassing radiant saber that transcends space and light. That is the meaning of his life. Then what's the meaning of mine? I wanted to break free from fate. How many times have I struggled miserably under fate? Like Kim Young-hoon, who flies like a bird in the sky, I wanted to fly beyond and escape fate, seeking freedom. Kim Young-hoon's longing for home melded into his martial arts, achieving a speed that transcends even space. I meld my desire to escape fate into my martial arts, endlessly liberating my techniques. In an instant, I find the optimized form of my consciousness. A sword. The sword, longing to escape fate, transcends its form, becoming formless, dispersing into transparent consciousness. Shuek. Suddenly, the gang spheres that leave my body merge with the consciousness, materializing it. Quarrung. A bolt of blue lightning falls towards me, and I precisely locate its falling point with my lightning-predicting eye. Holding the colorless void in front of me, I swing towards the heavens. Beyond the path to heaven, the sword of formlessness cuts through the heavenly lightning and splits the thick clouds beyond. Formless sword. The sky splits vertically, and light of dawn pours through the gap. Kugung tekeyugung tekeyugugugung. They say the danchin is the field of the heart, mind, emotion. From the field of my heart, where I have rid myself of all hesitations and nourished the soil with fertilizers, sprouts start to emerge. It has been a long journey. But finally, I have arrived. /// Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 80, Chi Building. Translating Novice. The 5 elements form a perfect circle. 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Surpassing the 5 elements, truly entering the path of cultivation. The 5 spiritual clouds of yellow, black, red, white, and green start to rotate and compress in the danchin. Kugugugu. Here we go. A spiritual energy star forms. The twists of spiritual energy from the 5 elements' spiritual roots are blocked by the changes of all 5 methods of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation. Suppress them. The changes of the 5 elements rotating in the danchin gradually expand their reach. Soon, the transformations of the 5 element begin to consume the twists of the 5 elements' spiritual roots. My achievements devour the fetters I am born with. Woo-woo-wung. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times. I've challenged chi building countless times. I've understood all the changes of the 5 elements. Kugugugu. all transformations of the 5 elements ascend to my hand, and the 5-colored star begins to stabilize. Palayat, a dazzling orb of light, different from the mere point of spiritual power I've been cultivating, shines within my dantian. The words of Mad Lord come to mind. Creating the flow of fate, extending lifespan. Through the unified spiritual meridian, spiritual power circulates and gets absorbed by the spiritual energy star. And the spiritual energy star compresses it into pure spiritual force. The pure spiritual force then circulates through the entire spiritual meridian, making the whole body accustomed to it. Since the spiritual energy star itself prevents the pure spiritual force from running rampant, it's safe even if it flows to sensitive areas like the upper dantian or heart. Kugugugu. Gangchi, or pure spiritual force, starts flowing throughout my body. Thump, thump, thump. I no longer need to forcefully compress the heart with Gangchi. Gangchi naturally flows through the spiritual meridian, extending my lifespan. Changes occur in the celestial energy. Beyond my fated star, a new position forms, granting me an additional 300 years of lifespan from the heavens. If the path of cultivation is about creating a continuation of fate, like the stars, perhaps cultivation is ultimately a process of becoming like the heavens. I gain a slight insight into the path of immortality. Through it, my ability to read celestial energy has slightly improved since the chi refining stage. Now, just by looking at the sky, I can get a sense of great fortunes and misfortunes. From now on, the concept of time will change a bit. After reaching core formation, I'll receive another 300 years, totaling 600 years of lifespan. At nascent soul, I'll get an additional 600 years, making it about 1,200 years in total. Starting from now, having received an extra 300 years from the heavens, my lifespan will be significantly longer. Roar, roar. The dark clouds that gathered around shattered heaven peak dissipate and soon vanish. I sort through my thoughts and laugh loudly, resonating throughout the entire peak. Finally, after several lifetimes, I have overcome fate. Surpassing fate, overcoming lifespan. Kiruruk. I deeply understand Kim Young-hoon's words that life is joy. Through martial arts, I have redefined myself and gained higher enlightenment. Having overcome fate, I have been granted an additional 300 years. How can I not be grateful? Once again, I confirm my achievement of reaching the chi building stage, releasing pure spiritual force throughout my body. Currently, I can only produce a slender thread of pure spiritual force, as there is only one source of conversion, the single spiritual energy star. But undoubtedly, it is pure spiritual force, and with Gang Chi flowing in my body, it's like having constant defensive Gang Chi activated. Up to the Chi refining stage, cultivators, though capable of using spells, still feel somewhat human. But from the Chi building stage, one truly begins to transcend humanity. With Gang Chi flowing throughout my body, attacks from martial artists with sword energy or sword silk will not even break my defenses. Even sword gang should have no effect if the concentration of pure spiritual force is increased. Unless it's an attack at the gang sphere level, the defensive Gang Chi flowing normally should be sufficient. Additionally, pure spiritual force is circulating throughout, boosting vitality. Like the one Chi building expert in pill refining from the Mackley clan. Even if several organs are torn out, pure spiritual force will keep them functioning for days, making it unproblematic unless the head, heart, or abdomen is severely injured. Furthermore, covering internal energy with pure spiritual force forms sword gang. In that case, freely pouring the pure spiritual force flowing throughout my body into my inner core should allow me to produce infinite output of Gang Chi. Frankly, any energy flowing through my body can be scooped up in whatever amount I wish and utilized in my inner core without any noticeable impact. As I ascend to Chi building, most importantly, my consciousness has grown even more. Swishing. I release my formless sword. Then my consciousness returns to its original spherical domain, enveloping me. Whoosh. Around me, within a radius of about 3 zhang, approximately 9 meters, becomes covered with my consciousness. As I continue to cultivate in Chi building, the domain of my consciousness will only grow larger. If I didn't reach Chi building in this life, the size of my consciousness would remain the same, so my head wouldn't explode right away in the next life. But now that I've reached Chi building and been granted more life, thinking about the current size of my consciousness. However, after pondering and moving my consciousness for a while, I quickly found the answer in the realm of beyond the path to heaven. Swoosh! My consciousness changes into the formless sword, and as I activate my will, it completely splits and begins to swirl around me. This is possible even without internal energy. My skill in handling pure consciousness had greatly increased, having reached the realm of beyond the path to heaven. In the next life, if I wake up and immediately split the formless sword, it seems I'll be able to avoid overload in the upper dantian. I can at least stay relieved for now. For now, I am greatly relieved that I wouldn't be trapped in a cycle of my head constantly exploding. Of course, I don't know what will happen if I continue to cultivate and my consciousness grows, but for now, I have extinguished the urgent fire. Swoosh! I revert the formless sword back. I ponder over the cultivation methods I will learn in the future. Now that I've been given 300 years, I should think slowly. Until now, I always felt rushed due to the constraint of a 50-year lifespan. But now that I've been granted 300 years in a single life, I feel incredibly relaxed and peaceful. The stages of chi building are broadly divided into 4. Many people casually call them early, mid, late, and grand perfection, but there are official names for each stage of chi building. Unlike chi refining, where each stage is called star, it is called constellation in chi building. First constellation, horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, winnowing basket. Second constellation, ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall. Third constellation, legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple stars. Fourth constellation, well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wing, chariot. They are called by these names. They correspond to the 28 stars existing in the astral realm. Chi building cultivators start from the spiritual energy star corresponding to the first constellation and go up to the 28th spiritual energy star corresponding to the fourth constellation. Creating all 28 spiritual energy stars in the dantian signifies reaching the grand perfection of chi building. The 7 stars ritual performed during the chi refining phase is of great help in chi building. The 7 stars ritual involved receiving heaven and earth spiritual blessings by borrowing the names of 7 out of the 28 constellation stars. Depending on the type of constellation chosen at that time, it can either assist in the practice of the first constellation, second constellation, third constellation, or the fourth constellation. I performed the ritual for the 7 stars of the Azure Dragon this time, so I should have an advantage in the practice of the first constellation. Suddenly, I recall an interesting fact. Typically, the vast majority of cultivators perform the 7 stars ritual only twice in their lifetime. Unless they choose the wrong time for the ceremony, causing it to fail, or some extraordinary rare phenomenon like heavenly rejection occurs. Originally, the blessings received during the 7 stars ritual are only for 7 stars, and depending on which constellation one chooses, the timing of the help received in chi building changes. Usually, those with insufficient talent receive blessings from the stars of the first constellation or second constellation, hoping for help in the early to mid stages of chi building. Those with outstanding talent receive blessings from the stars of the third constellation or the fourth constellation, aiming to quickly pass through the early to mid stages and focus on the later stages. This cursed regression ability might be helpful sometimes. In my case, every time I regress, the state of cultivation is completely reset, and I have to perform the 7 stars ritual again. Then, if I receive blessings from the first constellation in the early stage, refresh my understanding of that stage, and in the next life, skip the first constellation with prior knowledge and receive blessings from the second constellation. Reaching the grand perfection of chi building by receiving blessings from all 4 constellations doesn't seem like a far-fetched idea. Maybe chi building might be a bit easier than chi refining. I'm lost in thought regarding chi building when Yoon Hyanol, Kim Young-hoon approaches me. After nearly 10 years, speaking with his voice. It seems that cultivators from various cultivator clans that have settled in Shattered Heaven Peak are coming this way. Ah, that makes sense. With lightning striking and clouds splitting, it's natural for them to come here. Then Shah. Just as I am about to utter the word, Shattered Heaven Peak. Crackle. A flash of lightning sparks before my eyes, and the entire surroundings are engulfed in a strange glow. I realize in an instant that I have been transported to some bizarre place. What's this? I'm about to go on alert, but then I realize that my physical body has disappeared. I have been sucked into this strange world in the state of consciousness. What's the situation here? As I look around in confusion. Whoosh! Crackle, crackle. The bizarre space begins to fill with lightning of all colors. Red, blue, gold, white, jade, pink, dark red. And across the world of lightning, a shadowy figure emerges like a dark shadow. I tense up at this incomprehensible situation and watch the figure. The figure has no discernible outline, and its entire body is a dark shadow, almost ghost-like. But it doesn't feel like the aura of a ghost, it's more akin to a bizarre phantom. As I observe the entity, drip from the face area of the shadow, blood begins to flow from where I assume the eyes would be. It looks like a resentful spirit shedding bloody tears. I am Yang Sujin, the first sect master of Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, the remnant shadow of the fate left behind. You, the next generation's ender. Entering this space means that you've miraculously achieved the conditions I set. Before realizing your fate, entering Shattered Heaven Peak, surviving the heavenly lightning, and uttering, Shattered Heaven, all enders who miraculously achieve this near-impossible probability can come here. Yang Sujin. I, the founder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, Yang Sujin, have created an attraction of fate within Shattered Heaven Peak that inevitably draws in enders. Therefore, an ender will inevitably come to Shattered Heaven Peak at some point. However, for an ender, who is less than a bug before realizing their fate, to be struck by heavenly lightning here and survive against all odds, and to then utter Shattered Heaven, would require an unbelievable miracle. Such an event is impossible, but without a miracle, there will be no escaping a test notice. Thus, I leave this warning here for future generations, relying solely on the possibility of such a miracle. Crack, sizzle. Round the figure introduced as the remnant of Yang Sujin. The lightning that surrounds us starts turning blood red. Future generations, whether you are the next ender or the one after, or even thousands or millions of generations later, never reveal the fate you have been given. I don't know what gift you may have received, but under no circumstances should you ever speak of it. No matter where you go in the 3,000 worlds, it will know what you have received. Keeping your fate a secret is the only slim chance you have. Crackle, sizzle. The entire area fills with blood-red lightning. More and more blood tears flow from the eyes of the figure, introducing himself as Yang Sujin's remnant. If you have already revealed your secret, then, future generations, even that slim chance has vanished. Do not even think of returning to your homeland or escaping the curse of fate. Just give up on the thought of cultivation, live ordinarily among mortals, and die an ordinary death. Forgetting your homeland forever and living and dying that way is the only way to find happiness for an ender who has revealed their own fate. Drip, drip. His shadow starts to bleed and then begins to dissolve into the blood-red lightning. Everyone living their fate feels averse to revealing it. Especially for an ender, this feeling is much stronger. Yet, many take their fate lightly and end up revealing it. I too once revealed my fate and ended up like this, so future generations heed my warning. Even if you don't reveal your fate, it will be after you. But if you do reveal your fate, any means of resistance against it will completely disappear. Future generations never take my warning lightly, never. Crackle, sizzle. Eventually, completely dissolving into the blood-red lightning, he vanishes. Flash. The next moment. It's time to leave. I return to the real world, and Kim Young-hoon arrives in front of me. What happened in that strange world occurred in less than a second. Ender it, caught what shouldn't be revealed. Right, but are you okay? You don't look well. Oh no, it's nothing. I guess I pushed myself a bit too hard to reach Chi building, but anyway. I look around and click my tongue. It looks like we're surrounded. Indeed. Dozens of Chi building cultivators from various clans of Shengzi surround us at Shattered Heaven Peak, each wielding their own magic artifacts and standing on their flying artifacts. Who are you to occupy Shattered Heaven Peak, jointly selected as a sacred ground by the clans of Shengzi? What are you plotting? Speak the truth now. One of the older Chi building cultivators points at us angrily and shouts. I step forward and bow. Greetings, I'm a cultivator who has just reached the stage of Chi building. The phenomenon just now was due to a special method I was practicing. In my ignorance, I only thought this land belonged to the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, not knowing it was part of the territory of the Shengzi clan alliance. So please forgive my mistake. I will not set foot in the Great Mountain Range again. With the recent massacre near the Heaven-Treading Desert and the war predicted to happen in 200 years, the entire continent is in chaos. Your lot seems suspicious, and to be a loose chi-building cultivator at this time. No, this won't do, we're taking you in. Could you please forgive us just this once? I really have just broken through to chi building, and the recent phenomenon was due to a special method I practiced. The leading chi building cultivator scoffs at my words and begins to channel his magic artifact's power. He seems not to listen anymore. Surrender quietly. I look at Kim Young-hoon. I try to let this go peacefully, but that's not going to happen. Can't be helped. None of them seem to be at core formation, so let's just warm up. You need to get used to beyond the path to heaven anyway. That's true. As we speak, the cultivator with the magic artifact yells out. What nonsense are you spouting? A first constellation chi building cultivator and a chi refining third or fourth star losing their minds. In the next instant, Kim Young-hoon grabs his saber. And the chi building cultivators around us shudder. If they have performed the 7 stars ritual and have the ability to read celestial energy, they will have felt it. A great misfortune appears right before them. Flash. Kim Young-hoon's consciousness turns golden. Simultaneously, gang spheres rise around him. My consciousness also transforms into the shape of a sword, and 9 gang spheres rise around me. These bastards, using some bizarre and grotesque sorcery, do you really think you two can defeat all of us? Clan leader, they're using bizarre methods we've never seen before. Could they be core formation seniors? Nonsense. They do not have a core formation senior's consciousness. Everyone take out your magic artifacts. The next moment, Kim Young-hoon's golden consciousness merges with his saber, becoming tangible. My colorless consciousness disperses like mist before solidifying. Kim Young-hoon grips the golden saber, and I grasp the formless void. As I ascended to beyond the path to heaven, Kim Young-hoon's intent became much clearer and more vivid. Our intents intersect. Beyond the path to heaven. Beyond the path to heaven. Surpassing radiant saber. Formless sword. Back to back, we swing our respective surpassing radiant saber and formless sword at the surrounding chi-building cultivators. Translator notes, Yang Sujin, Ender Fate Gifted, foreshadowing mystery exciting. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 81, Beyond the Path to Heaven. Translating novice. In a flash, a golden radiance sweeps through too swiftly for anyone to react. In a flash, something colorless whips around, sweeping the front with an unstoppable force. Boom. Oh yeah. This is insane, what is this? They're not just chi-building cultivators. A hill in front of me is violently torn away, and a peak behind is cleanly sliced diagonally, severing mountain swordsmanship, flowing ridge. I thrust smoothly with the formless sword gang, my hand clutching the void. The ridgeline of the mountain in front is smoothly carved away, targeting the chi-building cultivators who desperately dodge the formless sword gang with all their might. The formless sword isn't just about combining 9 gang spheres. The power unfolding from my hand is overwhelmingly greater than the sum of the 9 spheres. The formless sword gang freely transforms, stretching far and wide according to my will, and morphing into the most fitting shape with each sword technique. Moreover, due to its origin from gang spheres, just being in contact with the formless sword allowed me to accelerate thought as much as I wanted. The gang spheres are gone, but the effect of tenfold acceleration remains. Seniors, we apologize for our rudeness. Please calm your wrath. The leading chi-building cultivator, who had been aiming at us with his magic artifact, pleads for forgiveness with disheveled hair after dodging the formless sword gang. However, my goal isn't to annihilate these cultivators but to scare them away, so I swing the formless sword even more relentlessly. Arg! The core formation senior is enraged. Run! While swinging the formless sword, I make sure not to cause casualties. If these cultivators return to their clans and bring back core formation seniors, it would become quite troublesome. Without casualties, core formation cultivators will be less likely to personally come after us. Anyway, from the sensation of swinging the formless sword, there might be no need to swing with my hand. The formless sword, the epitome of freedom, breaks all limits and conventions of sword techniques. However, I continue to perform sword techniques, gripping the formless sword gang. Even if it's unnecessary, the essence of this power is still that of the sword, which shows its greatest might in the hands of a swordsman. Boom! The ultimate move of severing mountain slices through the peak before me. A chi-building cultivator, who narrowly escapes, turns pale and flees far away on his flying artifact. This is the feeling. The realm of beyond the path to heaven. I retract the formless sword back into my consciousness and look towards Kim Young-hoon. I can't see him. His version of beyond the path to heaven is specialized in speed, seen only as a flash of golden light. Even with accelerated perception from holding the formless sword, I can only catch fleeting afterimages. Boom! A golden ray of light shatters the last remaining chi-building cultivator's defensive spell and pure spiritual force, sending him flying with a mouthful of blood. Thanks to Kim Young-hoon's control, the cultivator doesn't pass out from the strike and manages to quickly flee on his flying artifact. Flash. In a blink, Kim Young-hoon is already by my side. It's quite difficult to react properly. I think to myself, how does it feel to wield this power in this realm? I remember the sensation of swinging the formless sword and answer his question. It's a realm that requires more attention to the fundamentals. Wielding such immense power could lead to losing the essence of martial arts. Despite its boundless nature, I feel the need to impose restrictions and continue practicing swordsmanship deliberately. This is a realization from my intuition as a martial artist who has practiced for 500 years. Kim Young-hoon nods at my response. You understand well. Despite ascending to a new realm, the foundation is martial arts. Losing sight of martial fundamentals can lead to total collapse. As you said, more than any previous stage, this realm demands focusing on grounding ourselves. He clicks his tongue while speaking. Knowing so much about martial arts and yet belittling yourself for lack of talent. It was infuriating to see you suppress yourself with such talk. What about other insights? Did you notice anything else? I shake my head at his question. I was focused on grasping the essence of the formless sword, so I didn't have the chance to observe anything else. Of course, it would be difficult to pay attention to details in that chaos. He looks at me. Upon reaching 3 flowers gather at the summit, one begins to see the colors of intent. And with beyond the path to heaven, this ability deepens, allowing one to read the heart essence of others. As per Kim Young-hoon's explanation, I focus on the flow of intent, and soon after, I can see his soul emanating the flow of intent from within his body. Focusing on the flow emanating from the soul itself, I am soon able to perceive the essence of Kim Young-hoon. Golden light. A vast river of golden radiance. No, it's not just a river. It's part of something larger. Numerous rivers intertwine, forming a massive entity of golden brilliance. It's a peng bird. A peng bird formed from golden rivers, flapping its wings. That is the foundation of Kim Young-hoon's martial arts and simultaneously, the essence of Kim Young-hoon as a person. As you get accustomed to seeing heart essence, you can approach and stimulate others' subconsciousness with your heart essence, or even cultivate them. You can send a much more fundamental heart language than through telepathy or consciousness. Like this. Kim Young-hoon's heart essence changes. The golden peng bird makes eye contact with me. The next moment, I understand intuitively what Kim Young-hoon is thinking, feeling, and trying to convey to me, beyond words. I learn a few more minor things about beyond the path to heaven from Kim Young-hoon. You seem to have learned it all, and you might want to take a look at your own heart essence. My heart essence isn't the formless sword, is it? Is my heart essence the surpassing radiant saber? It's a peng bird formed of golden rivers. Heart essence and your realm are certainly connected, but they're different. It will be good for you to explore your heart essence to understand yourself. I nod at Kim Young-hoon's words, close my eyes, and contemplate my heart essence. How long have I been observing my own intent and following my heart essence? Suddenly, my heart essence appears before my eyes. Deep within my subconscious, I immediately feel as if my lower body is pierced by something sharp. It isn't that my physical body is actually stabbed. It's just my consciousness in the world of heart essence mistaking it for an injury. But the pain is vivid. Ignoring the pain in my lower body, I look at the world of my heart essence. Is this my heart essence? As I walk through the world of my heart essence, I sustain wounds on my arms and legs. Despite the pain, I continue to walk. The pain is familiar. As the pain has already seeped into every corner of my heart, I walk through my heart essence in peace. My heart essence is a mountain, a vast and immense Mount Tai. And on this Mount Tai, there is no room to step because of densely packed swords planted upside down. Ironically, these swords are all colorless, utterly transparent. The surface of these swords are clear as glass, reflecting my image. A mountain of swords, a purgatory of a mountain of clear and pure swords. That is the world of my heart essence. Throughout countless lives, I have suffered pain and more pain. Always striving upwards, I have constantly endured pain like walking through a field of blades for that goal. Yet I have tried to uphold human virtues. This is the result. Pristinely clear and pure to the core, but the one walking within suffers excruciating pain, a hellish mountain of swords. This is me. I continue to climb to the top of this mountain of swords, wounded but undeterred. The peak of this transparent hell is always out of reach, no matter how far I walk. So my heart essence reflects what I've always felt about this world. Pain piercing through my body from all directions. The distant and unreachable goal, no matter how far I walk. Yet a clear pride for not having shamed myself. Ha 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 ha. I laugh. Then I leave the world of heart essence. Kim Young-hoon looks at me and asks, "How was it?" I think I understand a bit more about who I am. The pristine hell I just saw is the foundation of my formless sword, the driving force of my desire to escape my fate. This mountain is the very image of my life that I find torturous, and at the same time, a mountain I built with my own hands. Pain and effort built this representation of my entire life. Yes, that mountain is my sword. Thank you for all the teachings. Kim Young-hoon nods at my words and then smiles slightly. If you're grateful, then do me a favor. Please tell me. He draws his saber. Let's have a match. Somehow, it seems like the most fitting request from him. Do you know how frustrated I've been these past 10 years? Even when I sent you heart essence to stimulate your subconscious, you didn't take them in, all because of your absurd inferiority complex about talent. And it's not like you really couldn't grasp the essence of beyond the path to heaven. You had all the conditions to reach it, but just kept doing stupid things. Again, all you had to do was realize what you built up, and you'd have reached it, but you kept barely missing it. He lifts the corner of his mouth and raises his saber towards me. Do you think I liked following a guy around for 10 years, straining my eyes? I kept doing it because it drove me crazy that you were about to reach it but didn't. Whoosh. Golden light seems to flow from his eyes. I feel like there's madness mixed in that glow. I waited in frustration for 10 years, longing for you to reach the same realm. I can't tell you how much it ached waiting for that. Now, Seo Yoon-hyun, let's have a match. Make it interesting for me. Kim Young-hoon's martial madness bursts forth, and his momentum surges. Sigh. I sigh and materialize my consciousness again. No rest for the weary. Right after teaching me about beyond the path to heaven, he wants to spar, leaving no time to breathe. But I welcome it too. I guess I'm a martial artist through and through. Then first, I'll equalize my internal energy and consciousness with Kim Hyung's. What nonsense is that? He speaks sternly at my words. Didn't you use all your techniques and everything against me during Ultimate Pinnacle? This time it's the same. I've been in this realm 10 years longer than you, so I should show at least that much leniency. Doesn't that make it an unfair martial arts duel, considering the few spells you dabbled in during chi refining? Haha, be quiet. Can't I overcome even that? I sigh and slowly materialize my consciousness. Kim Young-hoon also starts materializing his consciousness at the same time. Before we start, I have a question. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Kim Young-hoon hadn't learned any spells. His consciousness also remains the same size as when he achieved 5 energies converging to the origin, almost a tenth of the size of my consciousness, which covers a radius of 3 zhang. Assuming we are in the same realm, what do you have over me besides speed? Experience is limited by time. Output is limited by the pure spiritual force of chi building. Consciousness is limited by size. And in terms of precision and freedom, my formless sword is more specialized. Even talent is becoming less influential in this realm. It's one thing to pioneer a realm and another to be grateful for guidance, but reality is reality. I look at him and let the gang chi rise throughout my body. If I go all out, Kim Hyung and I are no longer on the same level. Receiving the momentum from the sheer weight of my consciousness, Kim Young-hoon looks excited and tense. Isn't overcoming all that the true essence of martial arts? As I grasp the air, I smile brightly from ear to ear. Yes, that's so Kim Young-hoon. The next moment, a golden flash and a formless void collide. Translator notes, extra chapter donated by DeFlubs, thanks for the support. This and the next chapter are among my list of favorites. I just find the concept of heart essence really cool, and the fact that Kim Young-hoon's heart essence is a frickin' giant golden peng made of shining gold rivers, and Seo Yoon-hyan's heart essence is a mountain of clear pristine swords is just so cool. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 82, Martial Artist. Translating Novice. Kim Young-hoon always found Seo Yoon-hyan irritating. I am a man without talent. When was it? It was after Kim Young-hoon had reached the ultimate pinnacle and sparred with Seo Yoon-hyan. Indeed, to Kim Young-hoon, Seo Yoon-hyan seemed inferior in the realm of martial arts talent, especially in reading the flow of martial arts or creatively disrupting that flow. Yet ironically, Seo Yoon-hyan had reached the ultimate pinnacle before Kim Young-hoon. After falling into this world, Seo Yoon-hyan had conversed with the monstrous heaven being cultivators. Kim Young-hoon, since waking up in Yangwoo after an old hunchback opened a spatial rift, had various martial arts and linguistic knowledge in his head, so he assumed Seo Yoon-hyan was similar. However, Seo Yoon-hyan reached the 5 energies converging to the origin faster, using just his martial arts knowledge. Even helped pull Kim Young-hoon up by teaching him martial arts. Considering his colleagues' immense talents and his own natural sense for martial arts, he accepted this reality. After proudly reaching the ultimate pinnacle, he found out that Seo Yoon-hyan had reached the extreme of that realm. Kim Young-hoon thought Seo Yoon-hyan, though different in approach, had a natural talent too. However, what Seo Yoon-hyan said after their fight was astonishing. He claimed he had no talent. If he has no talent, what does that make me? Someone who's not even garbage. Kim Young-hoon nearly burst out with those words but held back. Moreover, Seo Yoon-hyan was simultaneously mastering cultivation methods. Not just one element with heavenly spiritual root, but all 5 elements. His pace in mastering these methods was similar to the promising late-stage chi refining cultivators of the Jin clan, where Kim Young-hoon had briefly stayed. But even those late-stage chi refining cultivators hadn't mastered multiple elemental methods simultaneously. Upon reaching the grand perfection of their stage, they typically stole chi-building pills from the Mackley clan and transitioned to chi-building. But Seo Yoon-hyan seemed to be forcing his breakthrough with all 5 elements of a chi-refining method. Yet he continued both his martial arts and cultivation training. Kim Young-hoon also rose early and slept only after the moon was high. But Seo Yoon-hyan used a technique to forcefully stay awake for 10 days straight without sleep. Kim Young-hoon tried the same technique, but once the effects wore off, he spent days like a complete wreck. It wasn't something ordinary willpower could achieve. Seo Yoon-hyan lacked the martial arts sense Kim Young-hoon had. But he certainly had something else, something different, something Kim Young-hoon lacked. Everything I've done is part of my life. Just as heaven, earth, and man influence each other, what I've done influences my life. If Kim Hyung understands his life, it will melt into your martial arts. These were Seo Yoon-hyan's words during an enlightening conversation after a spar. Suddenly, Kim Young-hoon felt that Seo Yoon-hyan, though younger, seemed like an elder who had lived a much longer life. Simultaneously, Kim Young-hoon could organize his clues for the next realm through Seo Yoon-hyan's words. Years passed. This won't do. Kim Young-hoon gripped his saber. Initially, he felt he could reach the extreme at any time and easily reach every realm. He had talent after all. He instinctively refrained from sharing this, but his martial arts talent stemmed from a certain sense he felt upon arriving in this world. Following this sense, he believed he would eventually reach the extreme. But it wasn't so. Decades after reaching the ultimate pinnacle, he trained and retrained, following beyond the path to heaven martial arts, which described the realm beyond the ultimate pinnacle. Yet the wall was still too thick and impenetrable. What must I do? Even with his talent, the next wall seemed too high and rugged. It appeared unreachable. One late night, while wielding his saber, Kim Young-hoon heard a strange sound from Seo Yoon-hyan's training cave. With his hearing, honed to a delicate extent from having an inner core, he could hear what was happening in Seo Yoon-hyan's cave, dozens of yards away. It wasn't the usual sound of Seo Yoon-hyan training in martial arts or cultivation in the middle of the night. Crackling groaning. Sounds like gasping for air. Kim Young-hoon entered the shattered Heaven Peak cave, thinking something had happened. Has he used that technique to awaken his mind and train again? Seo Yoon-hyan often used the technique to drive away sleep and train for days, occasionally fainting. Of course, after fainting, Seo Yoon-hyan would quickly get up, regain consciousness, realize he had fainted, and then properly sleep to recover his body. It seems he fainted longer this time. Recently, Seo Yoon-hyan had indeed been pushing his body harder. A cultivator could know their own lifespan, and Seo Yoon-hyan mentioned there wasn't much left for him. Kim Young-hoon went deep into the cave to find Seo Yoon-hyan. There he found Seo Yoon-hyan, fainted while standing with his sword drawn. This state again. Seo Yoon-hyan had fainted during training, foaming at the mouth and eyes rolled back. Tusk, he should take it easy. Kim Young-hoon was about to wake Seo Yoon-hyan when suddenly Seo Yoon-hyan, still fainted, swung his sword. While unconscious, he continued to move. Seo Yoon-hyan refined the severing mountain swordsmanship from start to finish, then began practicing cultivation in a seated position. It was astounding how he could complete his regular training regimen even while unconscious. His body, his life, his energy remembered it. Kim Young-hoon stood dumbfounded, watching Seo Yoon-hyan train while unconscious. Seo Yoon-hyan continued until dawn. Only when the morning sun rose did Kim Young-hoon come to his senses and wake Seo Yoon-hyan. Yoon-hyan, you fainted again, wake up. I'm unlucky. Seo Yoon-hyan regained consciousness, clutching his heart and looked around. I see, sorry Kim Hyung, I should rest my body. Yoon-hyan. Kim Young-hoon looked at Seo Yoon-hyan and asked, why push yourself so hard, isn't this too much? That Seo Yoon-hyan bitterly laughed and said, I have no talent. Without talent, in order to reach high places, one must be willing to die even in the evening. The willingness to die even in the evening. After saying that, Seo Yoon-hyan collapsed into his sleeping quarters, but to Kim Young-hoon, it felt like a heavy blow to his head. What have I been doing all this time? For the first time, he felt lazy, while he had endlessly strived for the next realm. Maybe what I've been doing was just self-satisfaction. Without the readiness to die, had he ever thought beyond his current state? Kim Young-hoon clenched his saber until it nearly shattered. The founder of Beyond the Path to Heaven's martial arts ascended only after being ready to die. What have I been doing? He felt wronged, regretted the time wasted. As a martial artist, I tried to reach the next realm without even being ready to face death. He was too ashamed to lift his face. He returned to his training ground, grasped his saber, and took his stance. Right, let's die. With the resolve to die, he aimed to surpass. Until now, he had only verbalized enlightenment. From now on, he will be different. Ready to face life and death, he would truly strive. From that day, Kim Young-hoon stopped sleeping. He didn't eat. He concentrated his talent to the extreme, focusing solely on his saber. Forgetting the flow of time, the sensation of pain, he lost himself in the joy of martial arts training. Then he reached Beyond the Path to Heaven. Surpassing Radiant Saber of Beyond the Path to Heaven. The name Surpassing Radiant Saber contained his wish to return home faster than light. But it also meant surpassing a person who had loomed like a mountain in Kim Young-hoon's heart. That person was Seo Yoon-hyan. Kim Young-hoon finally stands, wielding what he had built, facing the man before him. No talent. Will he even know much of a deception that is to those below him? You have strived, Seo Yoon-hyan. Far more than Kim Young-hoon can imagine. How shocked he was the first time he observed his heart essence. Striving as if willing to die in the evening. The heart essence Kim Young-hoon had while striving for 50 days is basic for Seo Yoon-hyan. Even if you truly lack talent with that much effort, you deserve confidence. No, he should be confident. That's the respect someone who has reached that level can show to those below. Therefore, Kim Young-hoon is rather pleased when Seo Yoon-hyun, having obtained the formless sword, looks down on him. I have no advantage other than speed. Right. If it's Seo Yoon-hyun, he deserves to say so. He has every right to say so, having worked so hard that it pains even the onlookers. But Seo Yoon-hyun. Kim Young-hoon takes his stance, gripping his saber. Even if speed is all I have, I intend to surpass you this time. Seo Yoon-hyun's martial arts. Seo Yoon-hyun's will. The effort he has put in. I will surpass them. That's what it means to be a martial artist. Here I go. Time seems to split. Golden radiance swirls as Kim Young-hoon's saber targets Seo Yoon-hyun's neck. I can't give formless sword any chance to react. Strike first to gain the advantage. In the next instant, Seo Yoon-hyun's intent resounds in his consciousness. The sword technique he uses, along with the formless sword, lunges forward. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains. The formless sword spreads in all directions like thorns. A sword free of all shapes and constraints. Seo Yoon-hyun is surrounded by an invisible barbed fence. Tear apart. Kim Young-hoon quickly retreats. Swish. Just by approaching and retreating, he is already scratched all over. Seo Yoon-hyun's intent resonates again. Severing mountain swordsmanship, landscape painting. The formless sword gang spreads in all directions, slashing everything around. The formless sword, extending and shrinking in unpredictable orbits, spreads destruction within a radius of about 18 meters. Seo Yoon-hyun's technique continues. Severing mountain swordsmanship, mountain and valley transformation, mountain tiger. The formless sword gang burrows below and erupts, collapsing the terrain, and converges towards Kim Young-hoon. Kim Young-hoon, merging with the surpassing radiant saber, turns into a beam of light, dodging the formless sword gang, then retreats to stable ground to confront Seo Yoon-hyun. Seo Yoon-hyun emphasizes the basics. In the severing mountain swordsmanship dispersed by the formless sword, none goes against martial principle. Each is true to the foundation and essence of severing mountain swordsmanship. Severing mountain swordsmanship, joy of mountains and peaks. Boom! Seo Yoon-hyun, using the formless sword, starts rushing towards Kim Young-hoon. The formless sword gang roams freely, charging at Kim Young-hoon. I can't dodge. He needs to penetrate through. Severing vein saber method, mountain bird. Kim Young-hoon turns into a ray of light again. Speed is a tremendous advantage in combat. Seo Yoon-hyun had provoked him, but if the surpassing radiant saber's potential is fully realized, it can potentially far surpass the formless sword. The essence of the surpassing radiant saber is in the instant, while the essence of the formless sword is its trajectory. The colorless trajectory, changing freely in the void and striking down, is unpredictable. But change means there will be strengths and weaknesses. If there's a strong part, there must be a weak part. Kim Young-hoon concentrates. He needs to analyze the formless trajectory in an instant and approach Seo Yoon-hyun by flowing through the weakest part. Otherwise, Seo Yoon-hyun will have an overwhelming advantage at a distance due to his larger consciousness. He has to get close for a chance to win. Whiz. Severing vein saber method, mountain bird unfolds, and Kim Young-hoon dances with the golden saber gang. Graceful. With light-footed grace, he strikes the weakest flow of the formless sword gang. Boom! When the weakest flow of the formless sword gang collides with Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber, Kim Young-hoon narrowly avoids internal injury. In saying this is the weakest part, even though he didn't face it head-on, but glided to divert its trajectory. The difference in power is clear. Is this what it means to transition from chi refining to chi building? Seo Yoon-hyun's entire body emits gang chi, endlessly powering the formless sword. What a monster! Yet Kim Young-hoon does not stop Mountain Bird and continues to glide past Seo Yoon-hyun's sword gang, approaching him like a dancing golden pang. The pang pierces through the formless storm to face its core. Severing vein saber method, mountain wind. Whoosh! A ray of light with the fastest technique shoots forth. The formless sword, which had been scattered in all directions until a moment ago, suddenly transforms. Severing mountain swordsmanship, echoing valley. The formless sword whirls like a fearsome storm, gripping the ray of light. The trajectory of the surpassing radiant saber is caught by the formless sword, spun around, and then hurled back at Kim Young-hoon. Kim Young-hoon narrowly dodges his own rebounding attack and moves behind Seo Yoon-hyun. The rebounding ray of light passes where Kim Young-hoon had just been and strikes the cliff behind him. Boom! The cliff fractures like a spiderweb, and a thunderous explosion resounds. Shivers run down Kim Young-hoon's forearm as he prepares for the next attack. Normally, it wouldn't have such power. The power mixed and rebounded by Seo Yoon-hyun transformed into that formidable force. Kim Young-hoon feels like he is single-handedly fighting a storm. Severing Vayne's saber method alone won't win. He needs to mobilize all his talent. If he doesn't evolve in this instant, he is doomed. Kim Young-hoon's mind races on ways to win, and he creates a new martial art. Movement technique, 7-color evasion. Whoosh! Kim Young-hoon's movements change, and the surpassing radiant saber morphs into 7 colors. In the next instant, Kim Young-hoon's form splits into 7, attacking Seo Yoon-hyun from above, below, and all sides, penetrating the blind spots of the formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, bouldered cliff. The formless sword coalesces around Seo Yoon-hyun, spinning like a whirlpool. Fence and defense became one, and the size of the formless sword creates a storm-like effect in all directions. 6 of Kim Young-hoon's forms burst immediately, but his real form, penetrating the blind spot, swings his saber at Seo Yoon-hyun. This strike isn't enough. The formless sword will morph to protect Seo Yoon-hyun in the next moment. Even the weakest part of the formless sword is difficult to cut through with the surpassing radiant saber's attack power. Next martial art. Kim Young-hoon's face turns red as if burning. Blood rushes to his brain. A new martial art is created. A technique to surpass the speed and power of the surpassing radiant saber in one instant. 44 continuous strikes. In a flash, 44 slashes are unleashed, concentrated with efficiency beyond layered mountains, amplifying the force immensely. Seo Yoon-hyun chooses to counterattack instead of defending. Severing mountain swordsmanship, flowing ridge. The formless sword smoothly pierces through Kim Young-hoon's new martial art. Normally, flowing ridge is a move to softly stab and make defense difficult, not known for its attack power. However, when flowing ridge collides with the 44 continuous strikes, magnified dozens of times more powerful than the original surpassing radiant saber, Kim Young-hoon spits blood and is blown away. Bang! While being flung away, Kim Young-hoon kicks off the air to regain his stance, laughing bitterly. Even after creating a martial art to divert 30% of its power, I end up like this. Even a slight brush can shatter his bones entirely. The versatility of the formless sword is almost infinite. Kim Young-hoon ponders. But Seo Yoon-hyun's imagination isn't infinite. Moreover, Seo Yoon-hyun's formless sword is adapted to severing mountain swordsmanship and changes only within that framework. I need to create a martial art specifically to counter severing mountain swordsmanship. Flash. Let's play. A golden radiance flashes, and in an instant it strikes Seo Yoon-hyun, with both exchanging hundreds to thousands of classes per second. Sword marks, saber scars fly in all directions. Every time Seo Yoon-hyun uses severing mountain swordsmanship, Kim Young-hoon references several martial arts on the spot to counter it, and they are evenly matched for a while. Kim Young-hoon's injuries multiply. Meanwhile, Seo Yoon-hyun remains unscathed. Kim Young-hoon, despite gasping for breath, still smiles. Indeed, an overwhelming disadvantage. An insurmountable mountain. That is the man before him. The best. He is annoyed with Seo Yoon-hyun. How can someone who reaches this realm not believe in themselves, hiding behind a lack of talent? Flash. Kim Young-hoon's head spins to the point of overload, and blood bursts from his nose. Creating 3 martial arts simultaneously, he approaches Seo Yoon-hyun again. Their eyes meet. Seo Yoon-hyun is also smiling. 500 years. For 500 years, Seo Yoon-hyun has never truly surpassed Kim Young-hoon. Especially the Kim Young-hoon, who after 50 years has always become a monster. Both feel the same way at this moment. I shall, Seo Yoon-hyun. I will, Kim Young-hoon. The 2 martial artists exclaim simultaneously. Severing mountain swordsmanship, Chi Mountain Heart Heaven. Severing Vayne's saber method variant, Mountain Earthquake. Applied martial art, Mountain Goblin. Created martial art, Tearing the Void. Created martial art, 12 Lightstream Slash. The streak of radiance and the void shines brightly. Win Seo Yun-hyun. Surpass Kim Young-hoon. The next moment, the formless sword swells to over sevenfold its size, engulfing the space with its formidable presence, while the surpassing radiant saber, with unerring precision, targets Seo Yun-hyun's unseen vulnerability. Suddenly, the world erupts in a blinding inferno of light. Translator notes, extra chapter donated by DeFlubs, I Want More, and Ko-Fi supporter THX for the support. 2 more coming soon TT. It's easy to tell who's speaking at the end in Korean, but the nuances don't translate well into English, so I added in brackets who the speakers are. Also, I think this chapter highlights one of the beauties of time loops that I personally enjoy greatly, when the insurmountable wall is now looking at the MC as the wall. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 83, Deathbed 1. Translating novice. The momentum of the formless sword alone shatters most of the martial arts created by Kim Young-hoon. However, using his newly created martial arts as a sacrifice, Kim Young-hoon's saber pierces through and slices through the air, targeting Seo Yun-hyun's neck. On the other hand, although Seo Yun-hyun's formless sword is ferocious, it still needs half of a half-breath more to descend and reach him. I will win. It's when Kim Young-hoon laughs as if his mouth might tear. Above Seo Yun-hyun's left hand, a brilliant 5-colored glow bursts forth. Among the 72 earthly Sha true words, the earth penalty true word materializes through the 5-element spiritual power. Did he create it without reciting the mantra, by just manipulating the flow of spiritual power? Judging by its quick formation, it seems like a spell that has been prepared from earlier and has just been completed. The spiritual power solidifies in the void, condensing firmly. It's a type of spell that condenses spiritual power to trigger an explosion. It doesn't matter, he can't hit me anyway. It will only take as much time to blink an eye for Seo Yun-hyun to complete his spell and launch it at Kim Young-hoon. Yet in that amount of time, Kim Young-hoon's saber will have already reached Seo Yun-hyun's neck. That's what he thought. Boom! Seo Yun-hyun did not launch the spell in his left hand. Instead, he grasps the spell with his hand imbued with pure spiritual force and looks at Kim Young-hoon. Along with Seo Yun-hyun's intent, the name of his technique echoes. Infinite Fighting Hidden Weapon Technique, Direct Serpent. The formless sword, which seems to be striking down at Kim Young-hoon, has already changed its form and resides in Seo Yun-hyun's left hand. The spell overlays on the formless sword and is shot at Kim Young-hoon. If it continues like this, it would be a counterstrike. And if it's a counterstrike, this monstrous guy with gang chi flowing in his veins will win. Even if his neck is half-cut, as long as the spinal cord is not severed, he probably won't die, thanks to the pure spiritual force spreading life force throughout his body. It's a judgmental defeat for Kim Young-hoon. No. Rumble. Kim Young-hoon squeezes out all the energy in his body. I'll be prepared to die, just like Seo Yun-hyun. It feels as if his upper dantian is about to explode. But Kim Young-hoon doesn't care and further ignites his talent, the sensation he had since he first opened his eyes in this world. The joy of cultivating martial arts. He forgets everything else. How can this not be enjoyable? Kim Young-hoon creates another martial art. This new martial art is not just about physical agility or pouring out slashes. In a paused world, golden threads spurt out from all over Kim Young-hoon's body. The threads, moving at the speed of light in the world of an instant, gather around his arms and into his grip, connecting to the surpassing radiant saber he holds, completely enveloping the saber. On the surface of the surpassing radiant saber, thin thread-like veins form, creating blood vessels and meridians. Kim Young-hoon contemplates and ponders over martial arts. Internal energy, techniques, and intent. All are a part of martial arts. And the inner core harmoniously connects everything, maintaining balance in martial arts. Suddenly, Kim Young-hoon recalls this and ponders over the existence of the inner core. What is the inner core? The inner core is basically where the gang sphere settles in the dantian, mixing with the nature of the dantian to form something new. Then what is the dantian? Why does the gang sphere, used externally, get depleted when its energy is exhausted, but the dantian recovers its power? Kim Young-hoon's senses lead him to the answer as he questions. It's because they're connected. The dantian is connected to the body's blood vessels and meridians. It's connected to physical life. Thus, empowered by the vitality of life, it continuously draws energy from the atmosphere, nurturing internal energy. The gang sphere, although containing consciousness, is not truly connected to vitality, so it keeps depleting. In that brief moment, Kim Young-hoon's talent leads him to a new idea. If he creates external meridians and blood vessels to emit energy and infuse life force into the gang sphere, wouldn't that gang sphere become another inner core existing externally? Beyond the resistance to the depletion of energy, can it be possible that, due to being connected to life force, one can continuously recover strength? Or could it become a new source of power? Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber is the union of 9 gang spheres and his domain of consciousness. Here I go. Breathing life into the surpassing radiant saber, he creates a new dantian outside his body. The surpassing radiant saber begins to burn even more brilliantly. The surpassing radiant saber, in a completely still world, surpasses through all perception and cognition, rushing towards Seo Yun-hyan after slicing through his spell. The formless sword infused with Seo Yun-hyan's spell rapidly changes form and targets Kim Young-hoon, but due to the hasty change, it only manages to head towards his shoulder. Swoosh! Boom! Delayed by the breaking of the sound barrier, sound belatedly explodes, and the dust that rises around them is pushed away in a circle. Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber is touching Seo Yun-hyan's neck, while Seo Yun-hyan's formless sword is touching Kim Young-hoon's shoulder. It's Kim Young-hoon's victory. I won. Churg-wageg. Blood spurts from Kim Young-hoon's eyes, nose, and mouth, having overstrained his upper dantian by rapidly activating his talent. Kim Young-hoon's inner core is also empty, and the brilliance of the surpassing radiant saber seems to extinguish at any moment. Seo Yun-hyan sighs. If it had been a real fight, I would have died. Yes, I admit defeat. Kim Young-hoon laughs, covered in blood. He has finally succeeded in surpassing him. Fizz. The golden light embedded in Kim Young-hoon's saber is retracted back into his domain of consciousness, and Seo Yun-hyan's formless sword returns as well. By the way, what was that thing at the end? I theorized I could turn the external gang sphere into an inner core by connecting it to a dantian outside the body like surpassing radiant saber. I created an additional source of power outside the body and used it to momentarily enhance the surpassing radiant saber beyond its limits. Seo Yun-hyan looks at Kim Young-hoon with a stunned expression. Did you create that martial art in the midst of battle just now? If the idea is there, it's certainly possible to create such martial arts. You probably can learn it even more easily. You originally emit energy outside your body to perform spells. Suddenly, Kim Young-hoon glances around while talking to Seo Yun-hyan. He hasn't had a chance to pay proper attention until now. Being a cultivator without difficulty, he only thought the surroundings were destroyed and the terrain damaged. He hadn't considered how it differed from the original terrain. You'll be able to learn it. The terrain altered by Seo Yun-hyan, scattering his formless sword in all directions, forms a battle formation. The battle formation has spell characters carved into it as sword marks, with 5 overlapping formations centered around Seo Yun-hyan. If he had just infused his spiritual power, the 5 elements battle formation would have activated, making the entire vicinity Seo Yun-hyan's territory. Chill. Kim Young-hoon suddenly feels a shiver run down his spine. If the battle dragged on, and Seo Yun-hyan started activating the battle formation, it would have been an inevitable defeat for Kim Young-hoon. Against cultivators, prolonged battles are nearly impossible, He sighs, thinking he had done well to end it quickly. Anyway, Kim Young-hoon suddenly feels his legs give out. I'm exhausted. Consciousness seems to be fading away. Yun-hyan, please take care of me. And just before losing consciousness, Kim Young-hoon realizes how unscathed Seo Yun-hyan is. Kim Young-hoon's whole body is torn, his clothes soaked in blood, and he himself is exhausted from internal injuries and the depletion of energy. He has been injured in several places by the force of the formless sword. But Seo Yun-hyan, aside from slightly faster breathing, has no injuries or even dust on his clothes. Except for the slight mark on his neck where Kim Young-hoon's saber had touched, he's unharmed everywhere else. If it had been a real fight, Kim Young-hoon's saber would have decapitated Seo Yun-hyan, and Seo Yunhyan's formless sword would have taken one of Kim Young-hoon's arms. Strictly speaking, it's Kim Young-hoon's victory, a fact acknowledged by both sides. But as Kim Young-hoon loses consciousness, he can't help but chuckle to himself internally. Is this really a win? The victor is on the brink of death, while the loser remains unscathed. Swallowing his ironic laughter, Kim Young-hoon faints. This shit. Sigh. I look at the fallen Kim Young-hoon and sigh softly. It's a complete defeat. Honestly, the way he kept creating martial arts in the midst of the battle, especially within those fleeting moments, was spine-chilling. And that last martial art he creating an external danchin to increase the output of a martial art. It's revolutionary, something only a genius like him could create. I couldn't have imagined Kim Young-hoon's talent to be this extraordinary. It's undoubtedly my defeat in the pure realm of martial arts, and had it been a real battle, it would have been the end of this life for me. If I only had a few more seconds, I could have activated the battle formation and seized control of the surrounding area. Kim Young-hoon moves in a world far faster than a mere second. Even my reactions with the formless sword are barely in time. He didn't give me any time and just chased after me. I pick up the blood-soaked Kim Young-hoon. Truly remarkable. I don't know how much longer Kim Young-hoon has to live. Nor do I know if he can overcome the heart attack and heavenly lightning to overcome lifespan. I'm curious about how much more he will grow in the time he has left. At least in this life, I will be able to see all of your growth. For a long, very long time. As long as he's been granted a new lifespan. If he can't overcome death, I will be there to witness his final moments. For a very long time. I take Kim Young-hoon and leave Shattered Heaven Peak. Having achieved everything I wanted, it's time to visit others. I left Shengzi and returned to Yangguo. In one of the coastal cities of Yangguo, I rented a small mansion and treated Kim Young-hoon. The external danchin-forming martial art Kim Young-hoon recently created is damaging to the essence. It must be incomplete since it was made on the spot. Moreover, having clashed with me several times, Kim Young-hoon's energy and blood were twisted and needed a long time to heal. While treating Kim Young-hoon, I contemplated the enlightenment from beyond the path to heaven. I decided to think about what to do next with chi building. Everything I learned during my chi refining days were just basic spells. True cultivation starts from chi building. It's the stage where one's lifespan truly begins to extend, and where one starts to transcend humanity. Thus, all the spells from the 1st to the 14th stars of chi refining are essentially just the basics. It's like laying the groundwork in the body to produce pure spiritual force. Now that the product is made, it's time to sell it and influence the surroundings. I need to learn proper cultivation methods and elevate my cultivation in chi building. I need to find chi building methods. Where should I get the cultivation manuals? At this point, being a chi building, I will be welcomed in any clan. Well, I'll think about obtaining them later. Essentially, I now have the power of core formation, so getting cultivation methods wouldn't be difficult. Of course, finding the right method is another matter. I put the thought of cultivation methods aside and think about the visions I saw at Shattered Heaven Peak. Don't reveal the ender gifts. Honestly, I don't understand what it all means. Sure, there are records of Yang Sujin causing heavenly rejection and other suspicious records. And considering he called me the next generation's ender. Perhaps he's like us, someone who fell into this world. Then what does it mean to be an ender? I don't know for sure. I can guess why we're called enders, but I can't be certain. And the warning he gave me must have been about the power I possess. Don't disclose my regression ability. So far, I haven't told anyone about it. It seemed no one would believe me, even if I did. Even if they did believe, what could they do about it? It would only cause mutual distress, so I kept silent. And I instinctively felt averse to it. All humans instinctively avoid disclosing their fate, especially enders. That shadow, calling himself Yang Sujin, had said so. Revealing it means it will notice, no matter where in the 3,000 worlds. Does that mean it? I gaze at the sky, far away, furrowing my brow. A very vast and powerful being, capable of scouring the entirety of the 3,000 worlds just by us uttering it. Is it searching for us, the enders, even now? The sky today is clear. It's a spotless blue. The sky seems high, and beyond it looks endlessly vast. Shiver. I feel a chilling sensation and shake my head. Honestly, I don't understand, but it's probably better not to do what I've been warned against. Besides, not disclosing about fate means. I think about my colleagues who were captured by heavenly being cultivators, those who had their talents immediately exposed. What happens to those who have been exposed? Have they already been noticed by it he spoke of? I sigh, squinting my eyes. I can't figure it out. Never mind, I'll think about it later. Right now, I don't have enough information to understand anything. Gradually, Kim Young-hoon's treatment is coming to an end. Several days passed. Kim Young-hoon gets up and swings his saber again. So what now? He asks me. Now that you're a chi-building cultivator, you can easily become an elder in any clan. Elder, huh? That could be good, but... I look towards the south, far away. There's a friend I need to meet. A friend to meet, who might that be? Oh, remember that dragon-like creature that captured Deputy Manager O? It seems he has a job for me. I briefly explain Seo ran to him and say, it seems he wants me to help his descendant and defeat a core formation level ghost. I'm thinking of giving it a try. I'm a core formation level ghost. Kim Young-hoon, upon hearing my summary, grins. That sounds fun, let's go beat it up together. All right, then shall we go meet that dragon's descendant first? Kim Young-hoon and I cross the Black Wind Sea and head towards Seo Ran's abode. Thump thump. Kim Young-hoon and I kicked through the air and arrived at Seo Ran's cave. If we used summoning wind, dragon transformation as before, we could have flown, but knowing it's a trap set by Seo Atrial, it became an option we shouldn't learn. Is it down there? Yes, it is. Then shall we swim? Just as Kim Young-hoon is about to hold his breath, I stop him and draw my formless sword. Why bother swimming? Let's just ask the owner to come out, though I feel sorry for him. Rumble. I feel sorry for Seo Ran, but it seems we needed to cause a bit of a commotion. Formless sword. Whoosh. With a single strike, the sea splits apart. The water all the way above Seo Ran's cave is torn open by the formless sword, and a path to his dwelling appears before us. Is the owner home? I use the language of the demon race to vibrate spiritual energy and shout. After a while, Seo Ran crawls out of his abode in his dragon form. What brings seniors to this place? He looks at us, Kim Young-hoon and me, with great caution. Swoosh. The divided sea merges again, and Seo Ran emerges from the water to meet our eyes. I show him the summoning wind, dragon transformation given by Seo Atrial and explain. The Sea Dragon King Seo Atrial asked me to help you, his descendant, break the barrier of Black Bone Valley. This demon beast manual is the proof. Would you like to accept our help? After looking at me and the manual, Seo Ran's expression brightens. See, seniors, if you could help me, I would be grateful. But you are humans, and I am a member of the demon race. Can you trust me? I've already heard everything from the Sea Dragon King, including your origins. I look at Seo Ran as I speak. At those words, Seo Ran bows his head slightly, sighs softly, and emits light. He transforms into his demi-human form, with scales and a tail. I apologize for not greeting you in my true form from the beginning. Knowing this fact, you must be truly requested by the king. Seo Ran smells faintly and speaks. Understood, then I ask for your help. Please assist me in breaking the barrier. I look at him. Calling me a senior, this feeling is somewhat strange. In this life, perhaps we can't be friends. But I won't let him die. Let's do that, lead us to the barrier. Seo Ran, Kim Young-hoon, and I head towards the sea area where the nether crossing ship of Black Bone Valley is hidden. Swoosh. Wow, magnificent. After breaking through the illusionary and ghost barriers set up by Black Bone Valley, we look at the nether crossing ship, positioned at the center of a massive water barrier. Kim Young-hoon is overwhelmed by the sight and exclaims in awe. That's the barrier. Seo Ran points out the barrier surrounding the nether crossing ship to Kim Young-hoon and me. Barrier that will dissolve if we remove the 8 formation flags inside. However, the barrier easily accepts those with pure human lineage, posing no problem. Kim Young-hoon and I approach the barrier. Like my previous life, we just need to enter and remove the flags. Please help me break through this barrier. All right then. At that moment, boom, a flash of golden radiance strikes one side of the barrier. Kim Young-hoon had slashed at the barrier, surrounding the nether crossing ship with his surpassing radiant saber. The barrier shakes violently and wavers. Oh no, Senior, there's no need to smash the barrier like that. Seo Ran seems panicked as he speaks to Kim Young-hoon. However, Kim Young-hoon just smirks and readies himself again. Well, I don't know much about spells and such, so I just tried brute forcing it, but this. Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber begins to emit a golden brilliance. Seems like I can smash it. Do we really need to dismantle it the hard way? Boom! He swings the surpassing radiant saber again, and the barrier wavers once more. Oh no! Seo Ran is taken aback by the unexpected development. But I just chuckle at the scene. If Kim Young-hoon is doing so, I can't be outdone. Boom! I take out my formless sword and, like Kim Young-hoon, batter the barrier. The barrier starts to shake wildly. Pay it! With my strike, the barrier trembles and a faint crack appears. Translator notes, extra chapter donated by Fugman, Lil Bruh, and Maxer. Thanks for the support, one more to go. Poor barrier. Those humans just need to kindly remove the flag stuck inside, but instead barrier-san gets jumped Elmao. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 84, Deathbed 2. Translating novice. The sound of a loud explosion vibrates the surroundings. Kwang! As a golden ray of light flashes, the barrier trembles and shakes violently. Guang! As the formless sword gang is wielded, the quivering barrier starts to develop cracks and gradually fails to hold up. Kim Young-hoon and I relentlessly strike the barrier with our formless sword and surpassing radiant saber, shattering it. Seo Ran watches us with a stunned expression. But you could have just entered and pulled out the flags. When you have physical prowess, there's no need to overthink. Guang! Kim Young-hoon and I simultaneously strike down with our formless sword and surpassing radiant saber. Finally, the barrier cracks and completely shatters. Packing! The formation flags inside the barrier can't withstand our strikes and break apart. Kim Young-hoon and I step beyond the barrier, followed by a bewildered Seo Ran. Is this enough? Yes, that's more than enough, Senior, but if you don't mind me asking. Seo Ran cautiously inquires, seeing me continue to respond in the language of the demon race. Are you also demi-human? The demon race's language, which only those with the ability to see the flow of yin and yang can learn, is entirely different from the communication structure of humans, who vibrate air to speak. Using the demon race's language is essentially the same as declaring oneself a demon. I'm not demi-human. Just think of me as a uniquely different human. It's this uniqueness that got the Sea Dragon King's recognition to assist you. I see. Thank you for your help then. Now that the barrier is broken, I'll take it from here. If you come to my place later, I'll compensate you properly. However, I shake my head. No, I'll join you. Excuse me. I've always wanted to enter the famous nether crossing ship of the Black Ghost Valley. Seo Ran looks slightly burdened by the idea of Kim Young-hoon and me, evidently powerful cultivators, accompanying him, but I pay it no mind and head with him towards the nether crossing ship. Better to be burdened than dead. And so Kim Young-hoon, Seo Ran, and I approach the deck of the nether crossing ship. What? The ghostly and yin energy that has been pervading the deck suddenly dissipates. The nether crossing ship, known for its ghostly and yin energy, seems to have lost its ominous aura. What's going on? Seo Ran looks around, baffled, but I have an inkling of the reason. I send a heart message to Kim Young-hoon, explaining the situation. Understanding, Kim Young-hoon tightly grips his saber. We enter the interior of the nether crossing ship. As expected, the inside of the nether crossing ship, unlike my last life's visit, is not as steeped in ghostly and yin energy. Well, that's a relief. If the ghostly and yin energy aren't too intense, exploring the inside shouldn't be too difficult. Listen, Taoist Seo. I look at Seo Ran and speak. Let's head straight to the lower levels of the nether crossing ship. Start our exploration from the bottom. Yes, I have a bad feeling. The reason for the reduced ghostly energy seems to be in the lower levels. If the senior says so. Without waiting for his response, I lead the way to the lower levels of the nether crossing ship. In my past life, the deeper we went, the denser the ghostly energy became. But today, as we descend, the ghostly energy didn't increase, but rather seems to thin out. And soon, we reach the place I had visited in my past life. The lowest level of the Nether crossing ship. Unlike the previous levels, where there's still some ghostly energy, this level has none at all. However, I tense up and ready myself. Kim Young-hoon, arriving a bit later, also heightens his alertness and begins to draw his surpassing radiant saber. What are you doing, seniors? Huh? Around us, the ghostly energy is weak. But it hasn't just vanished into thin air. The anchored ghost spirit attached to the lowest level of the Nether crossing ship had been absorbing and devouring the ghostly energy, compressing it within itself. Kagagugu. Above the black throne, there sits a being, completely engulfed in darkness, almost as if it had become a shadow itself. Unlike before, when at least the skull's outline was visible, now it is entirely shrouded in darkness. I thought 2 core formation cultivators had barged in, but it's just 2 chi building and 1 chi refining. No, that can't be. Breaking the Nether crossing ship's protective barrier requires at least core formation strength. You must have mastered some unique techniques. From the darkness, the shadow gazes at us. PTSHA. From the eye sockets of the shadow, blue ghostly flames ignite. No matter who it is, it doesn't matter. Those who couldn't even cling and follow when the Ascension Gate opened, mere trash, think they can receive the cultivation secrets of the Azure Ghost Valley. Zap zap. I swallow hard at the menacing aura emanating from the ghost spirit. It isn't the feeble presence I had felt before. It's aware of our full strength and is on high alert. Whatever you want from the Nether crossing ship, you won't get anything from the Azure Ghost Valley. I will protect it. Rumble, rumble. Screech, screech. Howl, howl. From the body of the ghost spirit, ghostly energy boils, and from within its shadow, dozens, hundreds of ghostly wails erupts. Then the ghost spirit rises from its seat. Step, step. It completely detaches from the throne. Simultaneously, a subtle connection between it and the throne seems to break. Did it cut off the supply of ghostly energy from the Nether crossing ship? In return, it seems to have absorbed all the remaining ghostly energy in the ship. It has no more reason to receive ghostly energy, and the weakness of being passive in its attacks while seated on the throne is gone. This time, it will be much more difficult to confront it than in my past life. The next moment, the ghost spirit moves its hand, and a 3-meter large ghost claw flies at us with incredible speed. Boom! The ghost claw clashes with my formless sword gang and is neutralized. Then Kim Young-hoon steps forward. Flash! A golden radiance flickers. Boom! Kim Young-hoon's saber strikes at the neck of the ghost spirit. With a speed that seems to pause time. The ghost spirit couldn't respond to Kim Young-hoon's speed, but Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber couldn't sever its neck either. The ghost spirit is repelled by the surpassing radiant saber. Then as the ghost spirit forms a hand seal, countless ghost hands erupt from it, targeting Kim Young-hoon. Flash. Again, a golden radiance flickers, and Kim Young-hoon is beside me. A few special spells are as fast as your formless sword, such as the ghost claw, but the ghost itself can't keep up with the speed of those spells. In short, it's much slower than us, but the output of the surpassing radiant saber isn't enough to penetrate the ghostly energy of that core formation ghost spirit. He glances at me and says, "I'll draw its attention. You confront it head-on and target it." Yes. I can launch an effective attack on that ghost, but I need to gather energy to do so. Please buy me some time. Seo Ran looks at us and speaks. Kim Young-hoon and I nod at each other, and Seo Ran, understanding our meaning, transforms from his demi-human form to his dragon form. Flash. A golden bell shoots out from Seo Ran's mouth, and he begins to gather energy in it. Rumble. Again, several ghost claws fly towards us. In my past life, these fearsome attacks made me desperate just to evade. But in this life, I step forward, swirling my formless sword and slice the ghost claws apart. Boom, boom. Light flashes as ghost claws explode, and again, a golden light flickers. Flash. Kim Young-hoon, like a ray of light, reappears below the ghost spirit's shoulder. He strikes the ghost spirit's arm, disrupting the spell it was casting. You! Screech. Dozens of ghost claws chase after Kim Young-hoon, but they can't catch up. Swish. Completely enveloping himself in ghost claws, the ghost spirit begins forming a new spell. This made it difficult for Kim Young-hoon to penetrate inside. However, I take a stance, summoning the formless sword. Severing vein saber method, mountain wind. Whoosh! Holding the formless sword, I accelerate my thoughts to the extreme and appear right in front of the ghost spirit. In that state, while accelerating, I instantly switch the sword technique of the formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, flowing ridge. The straight-shooting mountain wind twists and turns, weaving through the gaps of the ghost claws. Effortlessly avoiding all ghost claws, it accurately hits the target in the center. Boom! A loud explosion occurs, and the ghost claws burst apart all at once, revealing the ghost spirit, pierced in the chest by my formless sword. The ghost spirit looks to be in agony, but continues to form hand seals. Is he not dead even with this? It seems a hole in the heart is no issue for a ghost body, unlike a normal human body. I'll tear it apart then. Of course, tearing everything to shreds is not a hassle. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains. Swish! The formless sword stuck in the ghost spirit's chest transforms, rapidly extending in all directions like thorns. An invisible barbed wire envelops the space around it. However, in the final moments, the ghost spirit completes its hand seals. Flying escape. Swish! In that instant, the ghost spirit transforms into a beam of dark light and escapes from the transformation of the formless sword. Swish! Although the formless sword's myriad changes didn't completely miss the ghost spirit, tearing a significant part of the ghost body, the ghost spirit ultimately manages to escape. This must be the flying escape technique of a core formation cultivator. A core formation cultivator can use spells by utilizing the stars formed in the Danshin, hiding in the escaping light for fast movement. Typically, flying escape is used for long-distance travel, and its speed is so fast that cultivators below the level of chi building can't catch up. A long time ago, when I was under my master's tutelage, Makli Yunryon of the Makli clan used a life-saving magical artifact that allowed him to use a core formation's flying escape technique several times, escaping from my and Kim Young-hoon's pursuit. However, I retrieve the formless sword and hold it again, looking at the ghost spirit who is repairing its ghost body. Is that all? I smirk and accelerate my thoughts once more. While my speed is slightly lacking compared to the ghost claws you project. If it's just that speed, I can sufficiently chase with a formless sword. To properly react, you'll have to keep using that spell. Severing mountain swordsmanship, entering mountain. I swing the formless sword again. The formless sword rises towards the ghost spirit in the air, targeting him. The ghost spirit, showing signs of anger, uses the flying escape technique again. Wham! The ghost spirit narrowly avoids the formless sword, but in the next instant, he is unable to react to the surpassing radiant saber that appears beside him. Bang! A golden brilliance spreads out like a fan, striking the ghost spirit. Boom! You bastards, if only I had my Dharma treasures and ghost servants intact. But before he can finish speaking, Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber appears again around the ghost spirit, striking him a total of 36 times. Hold on tight. Severe him in one go. Severing mountain swordsmanship, chi mountain heart heaven. Rumble. The aura of the formless sword grows more ferocious, and I, combining it with the dragon vein sword move, slash down with the formless sword. Kim Young-hoon, who has been restraining the ghost spirit, retreats at a speed akin to light, and the ghost spirit, greatly infuriated, reaches out towards my towering formless sword. Boom! Black ghost bone emitted from the ghost spirit's hand blocks my formless sword. Block this! As I exclaim in admiration, the ghost spirit hastily forms another hand seal. I'll kill you all. Rumble! Around the ghost spirit, thousands of ghost skulls, each powerful enough to be considered a gang sphere, appear. Following after, numerous ghost claws erupt, and swarms of ghost insects envelop the surroundings. He's stalling for time. I realize the ghost spirit is gathering ghostly power among these many spells, preparing an even bigger technique. Rumble! I hold the formless sword, transforming it constantly. Severing mountain swordsmanship, transcending peaks. The formless sword, embodying the numerous martial principles of severing mountain swordsmanship, swings horizontally. One strike. Swish! In a single blow, countless ghost skulls and swarms of ghost insects blocking my view are all swept away like a wave. What remains are the ghost claws surrounding the ghost spirit. Severing mountain swordsmanship, bouldered cliff. The formless sword envelops me. It surrounds me from all sides, becoming a small storm, and I dive towards the ghost claws with an integrated offensive and defensive momentum. The formless sword rotates, tearing through the ghost claws and penetrating inside. Swishing. Like the eye of a storm, the center of the ghost claws is calm, and the ghost spirit is completing a hand seal right there. Kuang. The blue ghost fire burning in the ghost spirit's eyes weakens considerably. At the same time, above the ghost spirit's hand, a faint blue-white skull is floating. The skull looks unstable, as if it could scatter into the void at any moment. However, the power contained within is formidable, and I have a premonition that facing it will mean certain doom. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains. The formless sword gang extends in all directions, splitting apart. Once again, an invisible barbed terrain envelops the area. Boom! The ghost claws are all torn apart, and the ghost spirit, pierced all over by the formless sword, becomes a honeycomb. However, the ghost spirit is still infusing ghostly energy into the hand seal, completing the spell. Severing mountain swordsmanship, mountain tiger. I focus on the formless sword that is spread in all directions into one point, and as the thick barbed terrain retracts, the golden light of the surpassing radiant saber enters from beyond. Kim Young-hoon, manifesting the externalized inner core used before, swings the surpassing radiant saber, and the power of my formless sword concentrates into one point and explodes. Flash. A bright white light erupts, causing an explosion of ghostly energy, and I see that more than 80% of the ghost spirit's body is torn apart. Swoosh. The light subsides, and then a blue-white glow spreads in all directions. It's done. Shiver. The ghost spirit, reduced to tatters as if he could scatter any moment, glares at us. Now the ghost spirit's eyes no longer burn with blue ghost fire. They emit a red luster, like ordinary ghosts. Let's go together. Dying together. Kim Young-hoon and I read the ghost spirit's intent and harden our expressions. The blue-white skull swells. The formidable power of death contained within it makes the entire floor of the Nether Crossing ship feel chillingly cold. Then Seo Ran's voice came. Avoid it, seniors. A glimmer of hope flickers on mine and Kim Young-hoon's faces. Seo Ran, holding a golden bell in his mouth, has been gathering tremendous energy inside his mouth. Seo Ran opens his jaws. Flash. The power of the ghost-controlling bell mingles with Seo Ran's breath. Not blue, but a golden brilliance shoots out, flying towards our direction. Kuang. Ooh. The ghost spirit, attempting to detonate the blue-white skull, gets trapped in the golden breath along with the skull. The ghostly power is suppressed by the power of ghost-controlling bell, diminishing the self-destructive force. The blue explosion only exerts its power within the golden beam. The formidable explosion that has been emanating fierce energy is gradually weakening within the golden radiance. Is this a dragon? Kim Young-hoon clicks his tongue, watching Seo Ran spewing the radiance with the power of the Dharma treasure. Can he do that attack every time? If so, I'd like to spar with him. It's probably impossible. Taoist Seo has been gathering energy since earlier. Tusk. That's when it happens. Whoosh. The beam of golden light begins to weaken. Seo Ran's power is waning. The blue explosion, while greatly diminished by Seo Ran's effort, still contains terrifying power. It seems Taoist Seo's power alone is not enough, but at least the force has been greatly reduced. Right, let's do it. In moments, Seo Ran's power will be depleted, and the explosion will burst forth again. Kim Young-hoon and I move to both sides of the ghost spirit, taking our stances. We hold the formless sword and the surpassing radiant saber. The next moment, Seo Ran's breath completely extinguishes, and he collapses to the ground, gasping. Blue light bursts forth beyond the golden prison. And then the saber and the sword swings. Severing mountain swordsmanship, first move, transcending peaks. Severing vein saber method, first move, mountain force. Each of us uses our martial arts towards the explosion from opposite direction. Entering mountain, ascending vein, flowing ridge. Mountain spirit, mountain presence, mountain wind. The formless sword undergoes myriad transformation, maximizing the power of its techniques. The surpassing radiant saber, with extreme speed, splits the instant and bursts into light. The formless storm and the golden storm devour the blue light from both sides. Finally, each martial art and their profound meanings unfold. Echoing valley, 9 mountains, 8 seas, heavenly lake. Great trunk, surpassing mountains, returning home. Boom! The severing mountain swordsmanship, the ultimate move. The severing vein saber method, the ultimate move. Severing mountain. Saber tomb. The myriad transformations of the formless sword concentrate in a single strike that severs the mountains. The extreme speed of the surpassing radiant saber is encapsulated in a single strike that buries even light beneath its blade. Boom! The golden and formless forces devour the blue explosion, completely grinding down the remnants of the ghost spirit, who was sustaining the spell at the core. Chua. After unleashing the final move, we hold the formless sword and surpassing radiant saber, gazing through the dissipating light. The light fades, and within a figure stands. He's still not dead. Such a tenacious one. If he died once, he should have just gone peacefully to the underworld. Kim Young-hoon clicks his tongue, tensing up again. However, as the light dissipates and its form is revealed, we are taken aback. Before us was not the ghastly ghost spirit from before, but a translucent middle-aged man in black robes. The black-robed middle-aged man is lifting a dark blue ghost fire in both hands, using a spell. Judging by the remaining ghostly energy, this spell seems like his last. Dark Soul Possession Great Spell. Boom! The dark blue ghost fire envelops the ghost spirit, and he, shrouded in the dark blue flame, charges at me. Know the sin of coveting the treasures of the valley. Swish. I try to cut him down with the formless sword, but somehow, even the formless sword passes through him, and the ghost spirit is sucked into my upper dantian. Dark malice stains my soul. My soul is being eroded. The ghost spirit enters my upper dantian, touches the core of my soul, and seeps deep into it. He penetrates into the depths of my consciousness, where no one else has ever entered. In an instant, he infiltrates the depths of myself, and his heart essence intertwines with mine. The emotions he felt throughout his life and his consciousness enter into me, and conversely, my emotions and consciousness permeate into him. And then, Kyugha, the ghost spirit who has entered my soul, begins to scream madly. Hua, let me out, stop. Ayla, please, please. But I, in turn, constrict him even tighter with my will deep within my consciousness. What are you? Why does a human have such thoughts and feelings? Are you? In a voice saturated with fear and despair, the ghost spirit weeps. Are you really human? When the ghost spirit used the dark soul possession great spell to infiltrate Seo Yun-hyun's consciousness, he was quite confident. A trump card used by the cultivators of Black Ghost Valley. A technique to wrest control of the opponent's body by directly confronting their willpower and the life they have lived. Moreover, in the world of heart essence, he, having mastered the methods of the ghost path, had a significant advantage. All he needed to do was suppress the core of the opponent's heart essence. Thinking so, he touched the core of Seo Yun-hyun's soul, his heart essence. Boom! Bright rays surrounded him, and in the next moment, the ghost spirit found himself in a strange space. What? Pop! Suddenly, the ghost spirit's entire body turned into a honeycomb. Clear and transparent swords were thrust in reverse. Densely packed colorless swords on the ground welcomed him enthusiastically. Kugla! He screamed. They were densely stuck in all directions. The swords formed a gigantic mountain far away. The colorless sword mountain hell. That was the world of heart essence he had entered. What is this? Can a human even have such a state of mind? Typically, the heart essence, whether for cultivators or demon beasts, was small. Some people's heart essence appears as a child, some as small grass, and others as a rock. But generally, the heart essence was an object that could be something the person is focused on or an ideal they think of, a single entity. Typically, that was a normal heart essence. But this was something else. A world. The heart essence forming such a vast and distinct world was unheard of. He had never heard or seen such a thing before. But what was most terrifying was this. Even if this world is this person's heart essence, why does he possess such a painful world? Pierced all over by colorless swords sprouting densely from the ground, the ghost spirit couldn't move. The colorless swords caused immense pain upon mere contact. The swords echoed with Seo Yun-hyun's voice. Each one represented a part of Seo Yunhyan's life. Are you really human? The sword symbolized his life. Overwhelmed by the immense pain they emitted, the ghost spirit cried out in fear. You are not human. No human could be like this. You are a ghost, closer to death than even me, who is already dead. How can a human have such a heart essence? Rumble. The sword mountain stirred. The ghost spirit felt himself being sucked into the clear, pristine swords. Seo Yunhyan was manipulating his heart essence, trapping him. The ghost spirit, facing this unbelievable sight, could only laugh madly. Yunhyan, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I speak, having completely confined the ghost spirit in a corner of my subconsciousness. I've completely subdued him. There won't be any problems. Hoo-woo-woo. I form a hand seal and exhale spiritual energy. In the spiritual energy, the ghost spirit's face, trapped by my will, looks at me with a face filled with terror. What are you? What are you people? We're just humans, what else? Heh, you call yourself human. The ghost spirit chuckles bitterly. Well, it was indeed a tough fight. Now that his ghostly energy has all but depleted, he'll go to the underworld on his own if we let him go, right? I'm about to release the consciousness, binding the ghost spirit when he speaks. Wait a moment. What is it? I acknowledge your strength. I realize that I can't resist and that I have been defeated. So, as a victor's mercy, can you grant me one last request? Swoosh. The ghost spirit who has been captured in my consciousness changes his form. He appears as the translucent black-robed middle-aged man I had seen before. The middle-aged man stands there with a very bitter expression. I don't mean to harm you. If I have to die like this, there's something I want to do one last time. Please, as a victor's mercy, grant me my last request. Kim Young-hoon and I look at him for a moment, reading his heart essence. He's not lying or intending to harm us. He is genuinely asking for our mercy. He has no more fighting spirit left. Well, that's fine and all, but why should we? I consider sending you peacefully to the underworld a significant act of mercy. You're right. Therefore, if you grant my request, I will also reward you. The words that follow make me pause. I was killed by the Mad Lord and became a wandering soul, but originally, I was a heavenly being cultivator of the Black Ghost Valley and the keeper of the scriptural repository, knowledgeable in all sorts of methods. Nascent soul methods, core formation methods, chi building methods. Any of the 5 elements you desire, just name it. If you grant my request, I'll give you 1 or 2 as a reward. We read his heart essence. Indeed, he isn't lying. If you grant my dying wish, I will share all that you wish to know. Translator notes, extra chapter donated by Fugman, THX for the support LMFOW. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord.